Welcome back to the Complete Story series, and today we're going to go over Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Volume 2. Now, this idea is spun out of Dark Knight's Metal. It's a darker version of a big event or iconic moments in DC's history. Now, the stories that accompany this volume is Crisis on Infinite Earths, Batman Hush, Wonder Woman War of the Gods, we also got Flashpoint, and the final one, which is very meta, Dark Knight's Metal. So that one, Dark Knight's Metal, brings it to the close. It's the last one shot of the 5, and actually has a very interesting ending that you won't expect, alright? But still, it's a very awesome volume. I really enjoyed it. I think you guys will enjoy it as well. So, if you guys are ready, let's dive into Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Volume 2. The Dark Multiverse, a grotesque reflection of the multiverse above, an infinite tapestry of broken mirrors, many of them identical to their better selves, but for a single tragic decision. And I, Tempest Fugonauts, protecting each universe from the others, and every one of great interest is the planet Earth, a world of mighty heroes and incalculable threats. And within this world, Gotham. In most Gothams, a child named Bruce Wayne witnesses a great injustice and becomes the Dark Knight of his city. Enemies rise to challenge him, including one from his past, his oldest friend, Thomas Elliot, who grows in resentment, ambition, and malice, who takes the name Hush and pits Batman's foes and even his allies against him. But in one Gotham, Bruce Wayne and Thomas Elliot are not just friends, but something akin to brothers. And in this Gotham, the Waynes are not alone that night in the alley. And in this Gotham, the murder of Thomas and Martha Wayne is witnessed by the Elliots as well. And it is they who take in Bruce, not Alfred Pennyworth. But Bruce becomes more crazy. He just starts to descend into madness. And Thomas Elliot has to watch this as his best friend grows apart from him. We shift to Gotham, present day, and we see the opening gala of the Omni Center. It's a big event, and what we find out is that Gotham is actually its own country. It's no longer a part of the United States, and it has its own president. Now, a man welcomes all these different people in. They say, just arriving are the young president of defense, contractor, redline, dangerous bad boy, the Gotham club scene, Jason Todd, and latest gal pal, Dinah Drake, aka Black Canary. I see the charismatic and newly single attorney general of Gotham, Harvey Dent. Representing Gotham's founding families is entrepreneur Oswald Cobblepot. And of course, the king and queen of tonight's festivities, Gotham's first family, Gotham Senator and Wayne Industries CEO Thomas Elliot, and the lovely Talia. Now, interviewer asks Talia, he says, Talia puts the rest of us to shame as usual with her goddess figure and David Coma gown, and Thomas cuts a dashing figure and a signature Tom Ford. As ever, this is a couple people love to look at. Now, they ask, Senator Elliot, any truth to the rumors of a presidential run next year? And Thomas says, President March. Lincoln March is the president of Gotham City. Yes, the brother of Batman. The one who was a talent in Scott Snyder's Core of Owls. This is crazy, guys. Now, Thomas continues. Yes, President March is doing a great job, and the good people of the 5th District need me focused on their needs, as do the folks at Wayne Industries. Now, the reporter asks, that's not a no, Senator. And Thomas gets a buzz on his watch. He says, take it however you want, but like I said, I'm happy where He goes to speak to Talia, whispering, I just got a text from my doctor friend. I need to slip out. And Talia says, you are needed here. And Thomas says, I'll come back if it's not too late. Don't let that pretty boy psychopath Todd anywhere near you. And Talia says, must I remind you who put you where you are? It'd be such a bother for the League of Assassins to groom another senator. It seems Senator Elliot is being called away to serve the people of Gotham. The independent city-state of Gotham truly never sleeps. Now, Thomas starts to walk out the door. But before we continue, guys, think about it. Talia al Ghul, League of Assassins are ruling this city, Gotham, and they have Thomas Elliot as pretty much by their side. They helped him rise to power. It's very interesting to see Talia and Thomas working together. Now, Thomas gets into his helicopter, he starts to go up, they start to fly, and you see that the city is divided. Gotham City, you see the cops and the citizens are against each other. Some people, like the rich, are doing really good, but the people who are lower class are not doing so good. It shows so much of the city is divided. It's not what the reporters want you to believe. Now, you see Thomas, his helicopter comes into Arkham Asylum, and you hear a whoosh, and that's when we see Dr. Crane. He waits, and Thomas walks out with his bodyguards. And Thomas says, Dr. Crane. And Crane says, Senator, thank you for helping us expedite the compulsory legal rituals. And Thomas says, when did you find? And that's when Crane responds, at bed check, 3 hours 20 ago. Gotham security forces were already here, investigating other incidents. What do you mean, other incidents? Nothing of consequence. A few problematic patients have expired in their sleep recently. Still, one of the deaths was difficult to explain. Now, they walk down the different doors, the different cells, and Thomas says, Doctor, since I almost single-handedly fund this facility, I like to be kept more in the loop. And Crane responds, I assume your interest in this institution began and ended with my work, Senator. You're welcome to take my seat at all staff meetings going forward. Now, you see this man. He's in the cell. He says, hush, little babe, lest you call down the bloody bats of Gotham Town. He lurks above, desiring of a corpse to plit beneath the ground. He knows your heart, your blackest deed, and hunts them down wherever they lead. Whoa. And that's when you see in the background, janitor sweeps. And Tom says, what's that song Tech is singing? And Crane says, some tiresome little rhyme he made up about Arkham's devil. And Tom says, Arkham's devil. And Crane responds, something from Amadeus Arkham's journals. During his occult obsession, he claimed to have seen a bat demon. Here, generations ago, he wrote that it passed through walls and doors at night, silent as a shadow, killing patients. A few have recently claimed to have seen it. And that's when Thomas says the other deaths you mentioned, did they have anything to do with? Crane continues the sentence. No, Senator, please, I assure you, Bruce Wayne's death was a simple accident. You see Bruce Wayne, and he's dead. He's on the table. And Thomas says, it's true, then. Bruce is really gone. And Crane looks above Bruce's dead body and says, you'll have to do what next of kin. Now that you've officially identified the body, I'll tidy up the formalities here. And Thomas says, how did he? And that's when Crane says, it looks as if he rolled onto his face and smothered himself in the night. As you know, he's been practically unresponsive for years. Didn't have the wit left to turn himself over. And Thomas says, God, he was so capable once. And Crane says, at the risk of sounding callous, this is quite a fortunate turn for you. Wayne Industries is officially yours. Now, yes, if I may be so bold, I often wonder why you didn't speed things along yourself. Keeping Wayne a vegetable was one thing, but I could have taken more decisive action if you asked. Not that I'm complaining, mind. He was an exquisite test subject. None of the others lasted half so long. I'll name my latest fear therapy procedure after him, without his involvement in the waivers you so kindly provided. And Thomas says, Dr. Crane, don't talk about our arrangement ever again. And Crane walks away and says, of course, I'll show myself out. Feel free to stay a moment to say goodbye. Or whatever you people do. He starts to walk away. He says, by the way, there's something in his hand that might interest you. He was holding it when we found him, which was odd. It was never in his cell before today. And Bruce holds a handkerchief, a piece that says the mark of Zorro. Crane starts to walk down the cell, and you see Tech. And guys, you don't think about this, guys. Jervis Tech, he's right there. And Jervis Tech says, I am the bat of Arkham's home. Your souls belong to me alone. And glue my weight, my thirst to say, on meals of steamy blood and bone. And that's when the Dr. Crane walks further. He says, give it a rest, Jervis. Would you Now, he walks by the janitor, and the janitor has purple hair. He laughs a little bit. He says, "Careful, Doctor. Floor is slippery." And Dr. Crane says, "Is there not something other time you could do this, some sort of thing?" And the man says, "You want me to mop later than this? What, like 2 in the morning? Folks think I was one of the crazies." And Dr. Crane walks away. Now, that's the light shop, yeah, pop, and they scream, "Ah, what?" And that's when they say, "No worries, Doc. We get rolling blackouts at this hour sometimes. I'll go get the emergency lights on." You're click, click, click. And that's when Dr. Crane says, the door is locked. "Why is this door locked?" And that's when they hear, "Sit tight. Emergency lights will be on a jiffy." And Dr. Crane says, "Wait, come back. Get this door open." And you hear a and then you hear a pop. And out of the lights come back on. You see red light. And you see above them, you see the Arkham demon, the Arkham bat come out. You see Bruce Wayne's in a Hush uniform. He has a new costume. It looks really cool, guys, I'll say that. But he jumps out, and Dr. Crane screams. And Jervis Tech says, "Hush, little baby, go to sleep. And may your rest be long and deep. But say a prayer and best beware the blade bat of Arkham keep." And you hear a shrek, a thrack, and he takes Dr. Crane in captivity. Now you see Thomas, he's in a helicopter, he starts to fly away. He says, "I suppose I got what I needed." And then he looks, he says, "Just visiting old, and he looks out, he sees the Arkham demon, the Arkham bats. He's on a gargoyle. He's watching. And Tom says, "What?" The pilot says, "Something on the radar." And you see a bomb. You see a big missile coming here. Boom. And you see the pilot incoming. And you hear a boom. And they start to fly down. They start to crash. The helicopter crashes. You hear a boom. You hear a crunk. And fire starts to go all the way. You see the pilot is dead. The people with Thomas says, "Who's hurt?" Everybody's still up with us. And they say, "Pilot's dead. There's nowhere to go." All the people, all the lower class citizens start to surround them. Thomas says, "This is Thomas Elliott. Code red extraction. 2 Wayne units on my location immediately." And outside you see Barbara Gordon. She says, "They're coming. Get the senator out." That's Thomas Elliott's ship. One of the architects of our corrupt, broken city. And she says, "The ones who murdered my father. The last good cop in Gotham." You see Barbara, she leads the outsiders. She says, "Outsiders, avenge Jim Gordon and take back your city." You see Barbara Gordon with Tim Drake and Cassandra Cain. And they start to go to attack. You see all these shots getting fired. Yeah, braka, braka, yeah, boom. You see knives getting thrown into these bodyguards. They get killed, yeah, shuck. And Tim Drake says, "I got the far right one." They start taking him down. Cassandra Cain, she goes to slash one of the bodyguards. Yeah, quack. And that's when Cassandra Cain and Tim Drake get into the helicopter. And Tim says, as he looks at Thomas Elliott, "Nice to meet you, Senator. Big fan." And Cassandra Cain gets out her gun. And that's what Tim says. "That should be everybody." And Cassandra Cain gets a knife, or a sword actually, to Thomas Elliott's neck. And Cassandra Cain says, "Don't worry, Senator. Your fellow evil oligarchs will be with you very soon." But that's when she's stabbed into the chest. You hear a thunk. And she says, "Oh, Tim, she falls to the ground dead." Cassandra Cain on the ground. She's bleeding. And Dick Grayson comes out. He says, "You know who I am." And Tim Drake jumps. He says, "You're a Grayson." Dick Grayson has his sword, blood dripping on Cassandra Cain. You're a thwomp. And that's when the Grey Sun attacks. He says, "I am the Grey Sun." And he attacks Tim Drake. You're a shift. And the Grey Sun kicks Tim Drake in the back. You're a wham. Tim Drake is on the ground. He's bleeding. And the Grey Sun says, "Knowing that is really a fight you want." And Tim Drake says, "Someday, definitely." He retreats. He gets away. And that's when Dick Grayson looks at Thomas Elliott. You see in the background, guns being shot. You hear blam, blam, boom. You hear braka, braka. And Dick Grayson says, "We should probably get going, Senator." And Thomas Elliott says, "Richard, I didn't expect to see you here." And Dick says, "President Marsh sent me to look after you personally. This wasn't the only attack. Attorney General Dent and GSF Captain Flass are missing. Old news clippings about the Wayne murders were found at both of their homes." Why is that? Now, we shift. We see Barbara Gordon. She's in a containment cell. Now, Dick Grayson walks in. He says, at last, Barbara Gordon, the Oracle herself. And Barbara says, I have nothing to say, you zombie fascist. And Dick says, I'm impressed. The outsiders really stepped up their game. And Barbara says, my people didn't bring down that airship. And Dick says, the attacks on the Elliots and Flash, I understand. But why dents? And why bother with the news clippings? And Barbara says, I said I have news clippings. And Dick says, your little reference to a family mugging 20 odd years ago. The crime scenes all had them. And Barbara says, the Wayne murders. This is starting to make a lot more sense. Okay, Richard, because I want to see where this goes. Here is one for free. I'm guessing Senator Elliott's airship was shot down by a LexCorp surface-to-air RIM-72 Raptor, right? There aren't any of those in North America with the exception of Santa Prisca. Several shipping containers of structure-grade lumber from Santa Prisca arrived in Gotham Harbor last week. Receiver isn't a builder. He's the preeminent defense contractor in Gotham. That should be enough to get you back on track. Oh, and Elliot, don't worry too much about that little assassination attempt. I think you're about to have much bigger problems. And Dick says, I never liked Old Town. And Thomas says, everyone looks at you like they're hungry or something. And Dick says, I'm surprised you've even been here before. And Dick says to Thomas, but Oracle's right. Jason Todd has access to the kind of weapons that took down your airship. If this search turns up something, I want you to hear further questioning. And Thomas says, it makes sense that it would be him. He's been trying to move up the leaderboards in Gotham for a long time. And Dick, as they arrive at Jason Todd's building, says, well, if it was him, you won't have to worry about him after tonight. And the guarder of the gate says, the drones stay outside. And Dick says, that's not how this works. I'm Richard of the Graysons, here representing President March. This is Senator Thomas Elliott. We're coming in. Our drones to stand aside. Now they walk in, and Jason Todd says, Elliott, missed you after the party. And Grayson number 1 himself, wow. And Dick says, Jason. It just says, what brings you two out so late? And Dick says, RIM 72 Raptor ground to air missile. Know anything about that? And Jason says, sorry Dick, not my brand. Those aren't allowed in this part of the world. And Dick says, I recently learned that. And Dick says, and yes, my drones just took a radiation scan of this building showing 12 LexCorp ordnance containers 2 floors below us. 12 containers with 11 missiles inside them. And Jason then says, what do you mean? And Thomas says, you weren't at any after party. Jason, you left the Army Center right after I did. I saw you on that rooftop. You're about to learn that Gotham's not often kind to revolutionaries. And that's when Dick says, Jason Todd, under my authority as a Grayson of the independent safe state of Gotham, I'm detaining you on suspicion of terrorist activity. Jason says, am I supposed to just go with you because you say so? If you think that's how it works in Old Town, you've been up in your ivory roost too long. Now, he gets the drone, you hear a beep, and the drones explode, and they get taken off of Jason. Now, new drones come in, and they aim at Thomas and Dick Grayson. Now, Thomas says, wait, I've seen some of these men before. They're with the League of Assassins. And Dick says, you do not want to play it this way, Jason. And Jason says, the Owls have their time at the top, Dick. The League is on the way up, and they have my back. Talia, too. Sorry, Senator. And he points a gun at Thomas Elliott, and you hear a click. And Jason says, your girls are ready for a change of scenery. Now, that's when you see a bomb get thrown to the window. You hear a crash, and the different workers, the henchmen, Jason says, grenade! You hear a boom, a big explosion goes off. It takes out most of the bodyguards. Now, that's when you start hearing, no, please! A bunch of people are getting killed. You hear a crunk, you hear a throck, you hear a shriek. And Thomas Elliott says, something's in here with us. And Jason says, no, wait, don't. And that's when you see all these different men shooting. They're like, light him up. And out of the sky, you see the Batman of Arkham, the Arkham Demon. He comes out and he jumps. They say, oh God, oh God. They start getting taken out. He starts punching them, and that's when Jason says, "What the hell is that?" And that's when Thomas says, "That's who I saw on that rooftop just before my airship went down." Dr. Crane called him Arkham's Devil. Arkham's Devil starts to walk toward them, and that's when Dick Grayson says, "Get out of here, I'll handle this. But I have questions for you when this is over, Elliot." Elliot starts to run. Dick Grayson attacks the Arkham Devil, yeah, wham. Now, Dick Grayson takes a step back. He's with Jason, and Dick Grayson says, "He seems tough," and Jason says, "Sell up later," and they both say, "Don't tell anybody about this." And they start to shoot, yeah, blam, blam, blam. And the Arkham Devil starts to hit him in the face, yeah, blam, fuck. He starts to take him down. He gets one of his grappling hooks. He gets it around Dick Grayson's neck. He pulls it back, yeah, thwump. And he falls. He starts to hang, and he starts to scream. Dick Grayson's being hanged by the Arkham Devil. Jason Todd points his guns at Arkham Devil and says, "You think I'll go down so easy? Come on, then." And he starts to shoot, yeah, blam, blam. And the Arkham Devil goes to attack him. Now we shift to Thomas Elliot. He's outside the doors. He says, "Talia." "Why now, Talia?" And Talia says, "What? Where you been, Thomas?" And Thomas says, "Bruce Wayne died today. I'm about to fully inherit Wayne Industries. Why choose today to kill me?" And Talia says, "I let the League of Assassins, love. I killed my own father. If I had decided to kill you, would I bother to hide it? I don't know what's happened, but we are surrounded by a League of Assassins. We're quite safe here." And Thomas says, "Tell that to Jason Todd." And Talia says, "What?" And that's when Thomas says, "I heard him screaming as I escaped his building. Most of his League Assassins were dead by then. This was after he admitted trying to kill me tonight with your blessing. Why does Jason Todd have your protection, Talia?" Talia gets close to Thomas and says, "The League of Assassins has grand plans for Gotham, Thomas. Jason has resources we find useful. But the League of Assassins was not involved in any attempt on your life. When we control enough senators to ensure your secessions, we will remove Lincoln March and make you president of Gotham. But in case there are any challengers, we need to ensure that GSF and their armories belong to you as well." Todd was an investment. Now, Thomas says, "Well, I think you lost your investment tonight." He walks in, and he sees a picture of the Mark of Zorro. He says, "If you want to maintain your foothold in Gotham, a piece of my multi-billionaire dollar company, your little cult would be well served keeping me." "Where did you get this?" He holds up the Mark of Zorro picture, and Talia says, "I have not been in this room all day." And Thomas says, "Where did you get this?" And Talia says, "You forget yourself, Thomas." And Thomas grabs a gun. He says, "He's been here. He's been inside my home." And Talia says, "Who, for God's sake?" And Thomas says, "He could be one of your own people, for all we know." And Thomas starts to walk out with his gun, and Talia says, "Where are you going?" And Thomas says, "There's only one place that thing could have come from." He makes it to Wayne Manor. He walks in. It's deserted. And you see broken windows. It's dark. He says, "Who are you?" Now, Dick Grayson arrives. He says, "There's something I should know about the Wayne murders, Thomas." And Thomas says, "Richard, you're..." And Dick says, "Who is he, Elliot? Why does he care about the Waynes?" And Thomas responds, I don't." And Dick says, "Don't lie to me." That attacks the news clippings. "Whoever he is, he blames you. What's going on?" And Thomas says, "How did you find me here, Richard?" And Dick says, "I'm the head of President March's security, Thomas. I've had a tracker on you all night, and a bug as well." Thomas points his gun. He says, "Get back." And Dick says, "For months, President March has suspected you might be a vulnerability, and that the League of Assassins might make a play for the Wayne fortune, and then the presidency. Now we know it." And Thomas says, "I'll handle it." "Don't do this, Richard." And Dick says, "It's done. 2 flights of Graysons are on their way to your mansion right now. When you and Talia are dead, the court will seize the Wayne estate. League of Assassins versus the Corps of Owls for Gotham City." Now, Dick puts a knife to Thomas's neck. He says, "Thomas Elliot, the court of Owls has sentenced you to die. Now you're grown." And that's when the Arkham Devil pulls Thomas Elliot and Dick through the cracks beneath their feet. You're a crack, a crash, a croom. Dick Grayson's gone, and Thomas wakes up. He hears Alfred. Alfred says, "Hush, little babe, lest you call down the blade bat of Gotham Town." He looks above, desiring of a corpse to plant beneath the ground. He knows your heart, your blackest deed, and follows them wherever they lead. And Thomas says, "Hello? Who's there?" And Alfred says, Wherever you go, the bat will know and find you with the devil's speed. And Thomas says, I know you. You were the Wayne's butler years ago. Arnold or something, Alfred. And Alfred, crunching down, says, I'm afraid you made a mistake coming here, Master Thomas. And Thomas looks around, he sees all these people, and they're trapped. You see Penguin, you see Dr. Crane, you see Jason Todd, you see all these people, and they're in bird captivity. And Alfred says, a terrible, terrible mistake. And Thomas says, Alfred, you did all this? And Alfred says, me, sir? Just a humble manservant. I serve the Waynes, nothing more. Thomas says, the Waynes are dead, Alfie. And Alfred says, are they, Master Thomas? And behind him comes the Arkham Devil. And Arkham Devil says, are they indeed? And that's when Thomas says, keep away from me. The Arkham Devil starts to attack. Thomas Wayne shoots back. Blam, blam. And the Arkham Devil says, I know what you did, Tommy. All those years ago, your family driver, well, you promised him to kill your own parents, and how it went wrong. And Thomas says, who are you? He falls off a ledge. He grabs on for dear life. You're a crack. And the Arkham Devil says, who else would I be, Tommy? He grabs on to Tommy here, a shriek, and Thomas yells, and the Arkham Devil pulls him up, and the Arkham Devil in the shadows. This is a really awesome image. He says, everyone's dead but us. And he throws Thomas back on the ledge and says, the Wayne's in that alley. And Thomas says, oof. He falls to the ground. And Arkham Devil continues, the Elliots on that road a few years ago. The driver's killed in a cell, waiting trial for another crime. Even the decent cop who took the call. And Thomas says, you're not Bruce. And that's when Bruce says, when your parents took me and your mother said the boys will finally get to be real brothers. How Dr. Crane laughed when I told him that story. The idea that I was ever like a brother to you, who took everything away from me. And Thomas says, you died. I saw your body. And the Arkham Devil continues, you weren't my only visitor in Arkham, Tommy. Alfred was always with me. And so was the handyman we planned at Arkham, Jack Napier. So Joker and Batman are working together, guys. Wow. And Arkham Devil continues. When I was raided, Napier gave me the drugs and the autopsy scars that I used to fake my death and finally escape that place. With Alfred's help, I learned what happened to my parents years ago, and Napier got me access to people in Arkham who could help me avenge them. People like Amadeus Arkham, who taught me criminal psychology and how to fake a worsening psychosis. Disgraced spy Nick Mason, who taught me disguise, lockpicking, and all things spycraft. Legendary martial artist turned murderer Dolores Madigan, who showed me everything she knew about unarmed combats. Mob assassin Sal Buckets Barusco, who taught me how to kill to leave a messenger without leaving a trace. Casey Callahan, the noted cat burglar who escaped federal prison more than 200 times. And last, Gideon Crow, the infamous Scotland Yard detective turned serial killer who taught me the arts of detection, surveillance, poison, so much more. He walks toward Thomas as he's above him and says, for years I've watched you and the others pick at Gotham's corpse. Time to scatter the vultures now. Thomas says, we will, Bruce. We can fix things together. I'm powerful now. I'm in a position to help you, to make a real change in Gotham. Now that you're back, we can take back the city from the Owls, the mob, the League of Assassins. We'll start today. We can. And Arkham Devil stops and says, Day, Tommy. I've forgotten what that is. He gets his claws. He goes on to Thomas's face. He says, you will too. And Thomas screams. Now, you see that Alfred Pennyworth takes over the Wayne fortune once again. Thomas Elliot has gone missing. Talia al Ghul, the League of Assassins still have control of Gotham City, but now Talia is married to Lincoln March, the president of Gotham. Now, Barbara is still fighting with Team Drake against the corrupt city of Gotham. Jason Todd is on his own, and people think he's gone missing. And the reporters say that Gotham will rise again. Now, that's when we see Alfred. He says, now hush, little baby, go to sleep. And may your rest be long and deep, but say a prayer and best beware. You see Jack Napier. He looks at Thomas Elliot in the cell, Dr. Crane, and Jack Napier laughs. And that's when the Arkham Devil, he's out on a gargoyle, and he has Dick Grayson below his feet. And you see Alfred finish. He says, "The blade bats of Arkham Keep strikes." Now, the Tempest Fuganat concludes with, "So is written the tragedy of Batman's silence, a mad, faceless apparition, born of the House of Wayne, Elliot's into Arkham. In all the worlds of the dark multiverse, few indeed are those in which Bruce Wayne does not take up the mantle of the Batman. Even a lifetime locked away, tormented, and broken by madness cannot prevent. But this Batman has no Jim Gordon for an ally, no Robin, no police to aid him, only his poor mad servants, and the many lessons learned in the halls of Gotham." We begin with the Tempest Fuganats watching another world in the dark multiverse descend into darkness. We see the War of the Gods as it rages on. We see Shazam, Captain Marvel go up against Diana, Princess of Themyscira, Wonder Woman. Now, they keep fighting. Now, Cersei, she's controlled, alright, by the goddess of magic, Hecate. And she's pretty much manipulating all this. The government, causing war. Themyscira is going to war with all, like, pretty much the US, the United States. And it's causing a lot of death, destruction. Now, Diana, Princess of Themyscira, makes the ultimate sacrifice for her people, for Themyscira, and she dies. Now, the heroes of Earth, Superman, Batman, Flash, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, they fight back. Now, that's when we have the avatars of every pantheon. We have Hawkgirl, Lobo, Dr. Fates, Shazam. They all come forward, and they watch as Diana goes to fight off against the goddess of magic, Hecate. Now, at first, she throws her lasso of truth. She's doing pretty good, right? She's winning. But that's when we find out that it has been said that the death of a witch and the birth of a witch, Hecate, by name and choice, shall she repossess her soul. So whoever kills her, she's going to take over them as well. So if Diana kills her, not only will she leave Cersei's body, now she'll take over Diana. Now Diana used the lasso of truth, and any universe, that's where the tale ends, right? She beats Hecate. But this time, Hecate goes into her body, goes inside her mind. Now, that's when we see, in Themyscira, inside Diana's mind, Hecate says, "It will be my pleasure to turn this place into a temple fit for my divinity." And Diana says, "Where have you taken us, Hecate? What have you done to Themyscira?" And Hecate responds, "Not I, Vessel. This is your doing. I have told you there is no cheating fates. Everything you are belongs to me now." Diana says, This place is me. Then you are more vulnerable than ever, witch god." And that's when Hecate shouts, "To take the same actions over and over, expect different results is more than folly. Little princess is insanity. Truly, despite being clay-born and God's blessed, you are so human." Now, Diana gets her sword. She runs at Hecate. She says, "I'll take that as a compliment." Now, she goes to attack, but that's when she drops to the floor. She says, "No." And Shazam and Hawkman watch. Now, Shazam says, "Is she alright, Hawkman? That sounds really painful." Lobo says, "Well, it ain't good, that's for sure." Now, Hawkman says, "Lobo, please, be strong, Captain Marvel. If we intervene too soon, we may tip the scales against her." Now we see Diana, she's trying to fight out against Hecate. We are a womb, and all this power is being just pretty much lifted upon. And Diana, she keeps fighting back. They exchange blows, and she finally says, "Away with you, witch!" She punches Hecate, and that's when Hecate takes over her body for a second. And you see Lobo, Captain Marvel, and Hawkman get shot back. We hear a big wind, and you hear a whoom. That's when Diana says, "The only destiny I acknowledge is the one I make for myself." She gets a hold of herself again, and she's back. Now, she takes down Hecate, a woo-woom, and with her bracelets and her fists, she hits Hecate into this ravine. You're a whack, and Hecate falls. But Hecate says to Diana as their fight ends, "This is not the end of me, Diana of Themyscira. Heed my words, girl. I like fates. Shall not be denied my rightful prize." Now, Diana says, I have taken down evil before, and I do so again. Now she punches Hecate into the ravine, you are a womb, and before Hecate goes away for a short period, she says, "You may think you bury me, but you plant me as a seed. And your hatred and fear and pain will be as the rain." Now, that's when we see the fight is ended. Lobo gets up, and he says, "What the frag was that?" And that's when Diana goes over to Hawkman and Shazam. She helps Shazam up. She says, "The end of a hard-fought battle. Are you alright?" Shazam says, "Yeah, I think so. Just, wow, what a shock. Felt like I was just hit by a tidal wave." Lobo says, "How do we know the crazy tornado lady's gone?" Diana says, "She isn't gone as much as contained. Hecate attempted to take over my mind, and not expecting me to be able to fight back. She is buried in me, dormant until I learn of a way to exorcise her." Now, that's when Lobo says, "You bozos buying what the broad's selling?" Now, Hawkman says, "I have never known Wonder Woman to lie, especially when she wields the lasso of truth." So they believe Wonder Woman. They don't think she is possessed yet. Now we go to this general in Massachusetts. And this is actually not a general. This is not human. This is actually the goddess of fear, Phobos. Now let's see Hecate in this hourglass. She says to Phobos, "The hour draws near. Your true part in things will secure your place in my side." Fear. We see Phobos. He transforms into his regular face. He says, "Well then, so much for plan A. On to plan B." Now we see Phobos. He gets these 4 soldiers in his room, and he tells them to go to Themyscira to take down the Amazons. And he pretty much controls them, right? Now we have Steve Trevor. He walks in, and one of the soldiers say, "The general sends his regards." Traitor! So he kills Steve Trevor because these people think that these other soldiers or their other comrades are traitors. Because that's what Phobos told them. He manipulated them. So Steve Trevor is now dead, and we have these 3 other soldiers. They go out, right? And they get on the plane, they get on the jets, they shoot a couple soldiers, you're out, blam! And this one soldier dies. Now they start getting on the jet. And these other soldiers, who are not manipulated, come by and they say, "Step out of the cockpit, or I'll be forced to shoot you. Don't make me hurt you, Kurtz." Now Kurtz, who is controlled by Phobos, says, "Traitor!" He shoots them down, and they fly off to Themyscira. You're off, whoosh! And they're off. Phobos has secured his part in the plan of Hecate. Now we shift to Themyscira and we see Diana talking to Hawkgirl. Now Diana says, "I feel fine, Shira, strong." Now Hawkgirl responds, "You were dead, Diana. We mourned you. Your mother mourned you." Diana says, "All the more reason I want to go see her." Hawkgirl responds, "No argument from me, princess." Now Diana says, "Thank you for what you did for us. We can never repay you." Now, Hawkgirl says, "Apparently, it was part of my destiny to be an avatar, right? Happy to help." Now we see these jets, they fly by, and Diana says, "American fighter jets?" Hawkgirl says, "Maybe they're here to help with the protection efforts. Now that Themyscira has been revealed to man's world, it's more vulnerable." And then we see these jets, they release a bomb onto Themyscira, and Diana says, "Sweet Hera, no!" It hits the different buildings in Themyscira. Yeah, boom! These pilots keep releasing bombs on Themyscira. Yeah, boom! As all these different places start falling. All the different buildings, but most importantly, the place, the area that rests Diana's mother, where she is laying right now, gets hit by a bomb. Diana goes inside. She says, "The palace. Mother, the palace has been hit." She goes inside. She says, "Mother, mother, please." You see Hippolyta, she's on the ground, dead. And Diana says, "Mother, mother!" She starts getting filled with anger. She says, "I'm so sorry, mother." Hecate starts whispering into her ear, taking control of her. Now Diana flies up. She says, "Enough of this. Murderers!" She flies up to the jets. She takes out all the jets, and you hear a boom as they explode. Now, later on, days later, all the superheroes are on Themyscira. They mourn the death of Hippolyta. Diana says how she's fine. One day, she'll be with her mother. Now, Hecate whispers in her ear. Now, with Diana, we see Superman and Zatanna. And Superman tells her, "Diana, you've been through so much. How can we help?" Diana says, "Please, Cal. I need to be alone." Zatanna says, that may not be the best idea right now. Now, Diana says, I know you are concerned, Zatanna, but I just lost my mother. I need to grieve. Hecate continues to whisper into her ear, seeing how sisters have fallen, all these people have died. And that's when Diana starts getting a little angry, but she walks away. She says, I need time to process. Now, Zatanna tells Superman, her energies, her aura is wrong. Something's off, Superman. Superman responds, her whole world is turned to ash, Zatanna. I more than anyone understand what that's like. We have to let her have space. She'll come to us when she's ready. Now Diana goes to the bottom of the palace, and you see one of the pilots. He's strapped to this pillar with the lasso of truth, and Diana says, I sent my mother to a final rest today, and my home is sinking into the sea. You will tell me why. Now, after interrogating this guy, it sends Diana to Phobos. She arrives, and she sees the general. And quickly, she's like, I know it's you, Phobos. Just reveal yourself. Now, Phobos reveals himself, and he says, finally, when I heard there was trouble on the airfield, I was worried the mortals had botched the job. I followed your instructions to the letter, my queen. Now Diana says, my what? And Phobos says, I see. She's still in control. Then you thought of ways to deal with that too. Diana says, if you're attempting to communicate with Hecate, save yourself the trouble. I have locked her away and will find a permanent way to exorcise her soon. Enough. Now, Phobos responds, you are very stubborn, Amazon. I must admit, I am impressed. Still, from your aura, it won't be long. Now, Diana says, we Amazons have always honored the gods long after the rest of man's world moved on. We are favored among your kin. Why did you attack the Mascara, Phobos? Phobos says, a handful of worshippers. Your offerings and flames couldn't keep mighty Olympus nourished. The attack by the Roman pantheon is proof enough of that. The old gods are on twilight, and I would not fall with them. However, this brave new world and its new mistress has plenty of need of me. Now Diana goes to her Phobos with a lasso of truth. She says, speak plainly, god of fear. What have you done? Phobos says, I've paved the way for my mistress to reclaim what is rightfully hers. Upon the death of the witch and the birth of which Hecate by name and choice shall repossess her soul. Now, he shows these files of Etta Candy and Steve Trevor. Diana finds out that they're both dead, her friends. Now, she starts to fall to the ground. Hecate starts to take control. Diana's just found out that not only her mother's dead, her friends are dead, and her whole home, Themyscira, is destroyed. Now, Phobos says, want to play cat's cradle with your little string? See what is gospel and what is hot air. Now, Diana, she's just falling. She's like, I can't control. Now, she screams, monster! And that's what Hecate says, yes, little princess. Let the anger and hate flow through you. Let them set your blood on fire. Prepare yourself for my coming. Now, Phobos, kneeling to the ground to his queen, Hecate says, what you are feeling right now, the anger and fear and devastation, you feed her. The queen is dead. Long live the queen! And we see Hecate, she takes control, and Diana's no more. Hecate comes out and she says, bow your head and tremble in despair. Hecate is reborn. So now she's super powerful, and we then transition inside Diana's mind. Diana says, what have you done, Hecate? Now, Hecate hits her back into the ravine. Diana tries to get up, but Hecate says, foolish girl, even now the raw wound of your loss helps trap you here. Diana, as darkness takes over this ravine, says, no, you will not win, witch god. And as the darkness takes over and Diana disappears, we see Hecate. She says, fight harder, little princess. Your anger hardens the bars of your cage. The time of you and your gods is finished, and it was you who ushered in the end. We see Hecate with Phobos at her side. She goes to Mount Olympus, and we see Zeus and his queen and all these other gods. They're surprised, and they're like, oh, it's just Phobos. They're not really in fear at all. They think they could take on Phobos. But when fear starts to take over the palace in Olympus, we see Hecate. She shows up and she starts taking down the gods. She starts cutting their throats, taking away their souls, taking away their skin. It's very horrific and they all die. Now she goes to the queen. Your indolence is an affront to the primordial powers that gave rise to you. Power that I will put to better use. She takes the power away from the queen. What Hecate is trying to do is she's trying to take all this power from these gods because supposedly they are super powerful. But that's wrong. What she finds out is from Zeus that they are not really the gods anymore. Yes, they're still gods, but they are not looked upon and there's not faith in them anymore. What people on Earth actually believe in is the heroes, like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Now, Hecate still goes over to Zeus, and she says to him, well, you have no meaning to me. You have even less meaning now. She takes over Zeus and kills him. And we see Diana. She tries to come out of her mind, but she keeps being pushed back into the ravine. Now, Phobos tells Hecate, men no longer care for gods. They are fickle and stupid. They shower praise and adore these superheroes, where they once gave their devotion to us, to the gods. Now, Hecate tells Phobos that, alright, tell me more about this and I won't kill you pretty much. If you're useful, you'll stay alive at my side. Now, that's what we see on man's world, on Earth. We see all the Amazons going against the government, against the US. This whole war breaks out. The superheroes try to talk through law, try to establish peace. But the Amazons still start to pretty much cause war. They're angry. Now, in this moment when they are very desperate and they're vulnerable, we see Hecate. She goes into all these Amazons' mind, and she pretty much dresses up as Wonder Woman. She acts like she's still Diana. She's like, hey, it's me, all these Amazons, I am your queen now. Just follow me. Let's take back the world. Let's be stronger together. And the Amazons become servants to Hecate. So not only is Hecate powerful and has Phobos at her side, she now has a whole army of Amazons. Now, she goes to the US, to Washington, D.C., and takes over the White House. You're a rumble. She comes in. She says to the bodyguards, the president, let him know that if his power and strength he worships, that it is at my feet that he should burn his offerings. Now, she has taken over the White House. We see the superheroes. They show up. Superman, Batman, Flash, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Mr. Miracle, Zatanna, and many more. Now, that's when the superheroes convince the Amazons that they're friends of Wonder Woman. They just want to speak to her. Now, they walk in. And you see Hecate on her throne. She says, friends, you honor me with your presence. Tell me, what do you think of the capital of the new Amazon nation? Superman responds, Diana, what's happened to you? Whatever is going on, we can help you. But this, occupying the White House, declaring yourself queen and conqueror, this is wrong. Batman thinks. Hecate says, how does this make me any different from the former government? A government you are happy to serve the interest of, I should note. Batman says, you're not Diana. The Diana I know doesn't believe that might makes right. Who are you? Hecate reveals herself, and Superman and Batman are shocked. They're like, Hecate, she's taking control. Now, Batman gets a spear, he takes down some of the Amazons, goes to take down Hecate, but Flash, Barry Allen, stops him. And because he doesn't want to harm his friend, Diana. But that's when Hecate says, you should have let the brewing one, Batman, strike me down when you had the chance, fool. I'm so sorry, a mistake you won't live to regret. She grabs onto Barry's neck and takes the soul. The Flash is dead. Superman says, no. Blue Beetle shouts, my god. Batman then goes to attack with a spear, but it breaks. Now, Guy Gardner, Big Barter, they go to attack. Now, that's when we see Hecate. She cracks Batman's arm. You got snap. Now, she puts him to the ground, and she says, so much fear and self-loathing in you. Weakness. You're not worthy of their worship. Hecate starts to kill Batman, but that's when Guy Gardner tries to attack. He pretty much constructs like a bat to go hit her, but Hecate then stabs him in the throat, and she kills Blue Beetle and Guy Gardner. Now, Superman, Martian Manhunter, Fire, Booster Gold, they all go to attack, but Hecate hits them back. Now, Hecate grabs Fire and takes her soul and her power. Now, Hecate can burn the world. Now, Hecate then goes to Captain Atom. Now, Captain Atom says, please, Wonder Woman, fight her. Remember who you are. He punches Hecate, but Hecate says, all of you really do love her, don't you? How pathetic. I have buried her so deeply that she will never. Now, Superman then goes to attack Hecate, and Superman's like, alright, you're taking down all my friends, you're killing them, it's time you deal with me. Now, he hits her into this window, you got crack. He starts beating the crap out of Hecate. Now, Martian Manhunter and Ice and Shazam notice that Superman's actually going to kill her. And we see that Hecate is taking control of Superman. He's becoming angry. Now, see Diana. She's climbing up the ravine. She's close to getting out. She says, "Almost there. I'm coming. Please hold on, friends." Now, Superman punches Hecate, but she catches his fist. Hecate tries to attack, but Martian Manhunter gets control of her. She's stuck. And Hecate then starts to manipulate Superman. She says, "Cal, kill me. I can't stop her. Kill me while you can." She pretty much looks like she's Diana, like she's breaking through. And Superman says, "No, I'll save you, Diana." But that's when Hecate gets back in control, takes this one spear, and then grabs onto Martian Manhunter. And Superman says, "John, no!" And Hecate says, "And thus, the last son of Mars is no more." Martian Manhunter dies. Diana sees this from the ravine. Now Superman goes to attack, but in his vulnerability and his anger, he is caught off guard. Hecate, using her magic, all the power, pulls Superman's heart out, guys. It is a crazy moment. Superman, with his heart out, falls to his knees, dead. And Hecate says, "She rages inside her hatred for me, making me all the stronger. For that, I thank you, last son of Krypton." Superman and Martian Manhunter are all dead. Now, Zatanna, Dr. Fate, Madame Xanadu, some of the Amazons, and Phantom Stranger walk in. We see the Justice League are dead. Hecate shows that, as Zatanna says, "We strike now, and we do not stop until either she is defeated or we are all dead." Now, that's when Hecate says, "A pity. I have a fondness for those who wield magic." Now, Captain Atom and Big Barda get up. They're actually not dead, and they grab onto Hecate. Hecate is surprised by this. Now, during this, Hecate starts to lose control, and we see her fight off against all these magical users. Dr. Fate, Phantom Stranger, Madame Xanadu, Zatanna, and they all go inside her mind. Hecate screams, "No!" Now, Lobo, Shazam, Ice, all these magic users just go inside her mind and start to fight off against her. We see Pariah from Crisis on Infinite Earths, guys. A pretty deep dive, right? A deep cut. He comes in and says, "Destiny is not yours to command, Hecate. We are all the will of the fates." Now let's see Shazam. He starts to help Diana out of the ravine. But that's when Hecate starts taking down each hero one by one. She kills Ice. Now, she kills Orion. She says, "Away, foul creatures, you are nothing to me, no more than the beasts that crawl on the ground." Now Hecate, she says, "Get back, get back." She's getting weaker. Shazam comes out, and we see Dr. Fates, and they all surround Hecate. Hecate says, "You wouldn't do what you're about to do. You'll die." But what we see is Madame Xanadu, Shazam, Dr. Fates, and Phantom Stranger. They use all the magic they have to bind all her power, but they all die in the process. Now, with her done, the Amazons come out, and they are no longer controlled. Now, they put Hecate in this prison, and Hecate inside. She then sees Zatanna. Zatanna walks forward, and Hecate says, in chains, "Who warned you, little witch? Tell me so that I might repay them in kind." Now, Zatanna says, "It doesn't matter, Hecate. It's over. Oh, Diana, I'm so sorry." Hecate smiles. "Diana's not here, girl. Only I remain." Now, Zatanna says, "If that were true, things would be so much easier." Now, Hecate says, "Why? Why do you care? You gain nothing and stand to lose everything." Now, Zatanna says to Hecate, "You think that love makes us weak, but you're wrong. It was love that brought us all together. Love that gave us a higher purpose. Love is what allowed us to move out of the darkness and into the light. It was our love for each other that gave us the strength to lay down our lives to defeat you." Hecate says, "And yet, here I stand. Come closer. I feel I realize still am. Perhaps your love can break through." Now, Zatanna gets close, and Diana, she breaks through for a second. Diana tells Zatanna, "Don't get close. Don't let Hecate control you." But Zatanna's strong enough. She walks away, and she says to Hecate, "The chains are spelled. Hecate, powered by your own magic. As long as you wear them, you'll be trapped here. Diana, we're still working on a way to get you free." Now, Hecate screams, "Fool! I could have made you a god. When I am free, it'll be you who feeds me first." Now, Satana gets away. We find out that the world is now controlled by man once again. Women are now pushed to the side. They're slaves because what they did, what the Amazons did, they made them a threat to the world. So, they're slaves. They are just not good in society, right? Now, Pariah knows all this. And we see the government, controlled by Phobos, he starts taking control, and he starts killing all these superheroes. We see this war between the government and the heroes, and pretty much like the magical users as well. But the only hope this world has is Diana, who's still stuck in Hecate. If she can get free, the world can be saved. But that will not happen soon, because Hecate has control. Now, that's what you see the Tempest Fugonauts. He leaves this world, and he leaves it in darkness. The Tempest Fugonaut looks into this universe with the Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne. Now, he sees how the Reverse Flash has weaponized time. He has manipulated it. Now, we go into the Flashpoint universe, how Barry Allen went back in time, saved his mother, and therefore changed the events of DC's history. Aquaman, Wonder Woman, they pretty much built up nations and went to war with each other. Now, Barry, he went and found the Batman of this universe, and it was Thomas Wayne, Bruce's father. Now, Barry found Thomas Wayne, and Barry thought, okay, I need my powers, because one of the things that happened when he went back in time and saved his mother was he never became the Flash. So, he had to figure out a way to get his powers back so he could save this universe. So, he got into a chair, and he pretty much recreated the whole instance of him being in a lab, getting struck by lightning. Now, when that happened, he almost died. But he survived. He became the Flash again. And then the whole story unfolded. But this time, it changed. The story reversed. Barry Allen didn't survive that lightning strike. It didn't happen twice. Lightning didn't strike twice, and he died. Now, Thomas looks up, and we see the Reverse Flash. He comes upon Wayne Manor. Reverse Flash says, well, this is unexpected. And Thomas looks up. He says, who the hell are... And Reverse Flash responds, don't get up. Really don't. Barry, I honestly never expected to see you like this. What is the reverse of the fastest man alive? The fastest man dead. This really is a paradox. We see Barry, he's burnt to a crisp. Now, Reverse Flash continues. With you dead, should I even exist? If you never became the Flash, could I ever have become myself? Maybe you set me free. You should never have tried to undo all the work I put into your life, Barry. You should have seen all the plans I still have for you as well. I wish I could say I feel a loss, but all I see is an adversary who wasn't worth my attention. Now he takes off the Flash ring, and he puts it on his finger. He pretty much claims the Flash, right? Being the Flash. Now, Thomas Wayne gets up, he throws battery rings at Reverse Flash. Reverse Flash sighs, and he catches them, dodges them, and then throws them back at Thomas. Thomas gets hit in the shoulder and then punched by Reverse Flash. Reverse Flash says, you got no hope against a man like me, Bruce. I could age you into dust, write you out of time. I could break you into atoms. Or I could just push my hand right through your head. He grabs Thomas by the neck and he says, wait, what's this? I can see your memories, you and Barry. And Eobard finds out that this is not Bruce. This is not the regular Batman. It's Thomas. It's the father. Now, that's when Eobard says, not Bruce. You're Thomas Wayne. And Thomas responds, and you're the one Barry Allen talked about, Thawne from the future, with a stupid name. Now, Eobard drops Thomas on the ground, says, oh, this is good. I can feel you thinking about the changes Barry said he'd make to save Bruce. Put this world back the way it was. Hope. I can work with that. Thank you, Barry. This world is a gift. I'm going to enjoy it. Be seeing you, Wayne. He runs off. Now, he looks around, he says, running through this world, I can feel it, coming apart one life at a time. I can hear all their stories, these people, their past and future histories. It's a world on the brink of annihilation, tearing itself apart. Now, we see in Washington, D.C., and we see Cyborg talking to the President of the United States. He says, Batman wouldn't help us, Mr. President. These were the few who agreed to join the fights. We see Green Arrow, Abin Sur, the Green Lantern, Captain Cold, and the Pied Piper. Now, that's what the Cyborg says. I'm working on building a robotic army in Detroit, but I'm months away from being ready, the President responds. It's not enough. Intelligence says Atlantis is aiming to make a move onto U.S. soil any day now, with Themyscira holding Britain and Western Europe underwater. It's going to turn into a land grab until there's only one nation left standing. And it's not going to be us, Cyborg says. Sir. And the President responds, we were a superpower once, Victor. Do you remember? Between the combined power of millions of Atlanteans and Amazons, which is a mass grave waiting to happen. We need something or someone with a level of power we just don't have. It's not you, Victor. And it's not them. We see the Reverse Flash. He crashes through the window and he kills Captain Cole. He puts his hand right through his chest. He punches Adam Sur. He puts his hand right through Green Arrow's head. He hits Cyborg back. It's a cool double page spread. Now he goes up to the Pied Piper. He grabs her by the chin and he pretty much turns her into dust. Kills her. All she is a skeleton. Now we see Cyborg. He's hit out of the President's office. Now we see the President. He says, what the? And we see Cyborg. He hits the ground. The President looks at Pied Piper's skull and looks up at Reverse Flash. He says, please don't hurt me. And Eobard responds, I'm not gonna kill you, Mr. President. I put a lot of time into you. I created you. Sit down and I'll explain. There should have been another man in that chair. A man of deep conviction and principle. And a man who can inspire a nation. But I chose you. I whispered into the right ears. Suggested things to the right people. I encouraged you. Do you remember me all those years? A blinking eye was gone. And then we see Cyborg outside. He says, this is Cyborg. All units converge on the Oval Office. The President is under attack. Now we see the Reverse Flash. He continues. And once I got you started, it was easy to remove anybody who got in your way. The President responds, what? Oh God, what do you want? And Reverse Flash says, America, of course. Diana has Britain, Greece, all those places. Arthur has the 7 seas and more. I want America. I want the US. You can run it. That's why you're here. I just want to own it. Now, we see Cyborg comes in and he just starts amplifying sound. And Reverse Flash screams a little bit. Now, that's when he says, if you can hear me over this, it's not a good idea to use sound against someone who can move 14,000 times faster than that and disrupt and control the EM spectrum. Now Cyborg is hit in the face and then Reverse Flash says, know what else I can do? I can atomize you. And we see Reverse Flash, he turns Cyborg into just mere particles. Now the President is shocked and Reverse Flash says, now where were we, Mr. President? Oh yes. You were giving me America. Now we see on TV, the President is saying, he calls himself the Flash, and given the power he's shown me, I have no doubt he'll fulfill his promise to end the Amazon and Atlantean threats of our shores. Now, Eobard Thawne says, trust me when I say this, they'll never see me coming. Now we shift and we see the President. A week later, he shows up in the office of Reverse Flash. And he says, sir, I don't in any way want to rush you, but when do you think you might be able to do something about the Amazons and Atlanteans? It's been a week, and we did promise, and it's an election year. Not that it would probably matter to you anyway. That's what Reverse Flash says. I'm taking a moment to consider the nature of hope. After all, hope is what made this world we find ourselves in. One man's hope made it. There's an audacity to that. Something to admire. Everyone hopes, don't they? For a better life. More money, to be liked or appreciated, to avoid suffering. But these small, selfish, wishes and prayers don't really matter, do they? Wishing doesn't make it happen. There's no God listening, so does hope only matter to those with the power and will to see them fulfilled? This place would seem to be a testament to that. Wouldn't you say? The president responds. I'm sorry, sir, but I really don't know what you're talking about. I just don't want to die. Now, Reverse Flash responds. Of course, I just bring you back anyway. You won't die until I'm ready to kill you myself. Take a little hope in that way. Now we see Bruce, and he is talking to this new AI that Cyborg has invented. The AI says, experimental data on the Superman subject are amazing. I don't think they tested him anywhere near his limits. Don't think they dared to, but he might be as fast as Thawne. Certainly strong and potentially indestructible, gives him an advantage. Now, Thomas says, an alien. Why would he be on our side? Fight for us. After all, humanity has kept him caged for his whole life. And if we release him, how do we control him? Appeal to its humanity. Now we see the AI, it says. The psychevals suggests that might be the case. Yes, they've kept him isolated, alone with no significant relationships. But he seems to want to form emotional connections. Friendships, Thomas says. Not my area. And the AI responds, going against the security systems. Be in touch soon. Now let's see the Reverse Flash. He shows up into the Batcave, and he says, so, Stone's still kicking about the ether? Must have backed up his brain clever. Think he's gone through all your files? Maybe you should delete your history. Thomas says, Thawne, running a president isn't keeping you busy? And Thawne says, oh, you know I could be here and there. And Thomas says, Alan says mother died, murdered, but she was alive now and everything was different from how it should be. Said you killed her. And Thawne responds, I did. The really beautiful thing about this world being so deliciously screwed up isn't because I killed her. It's because he saved her. He hoped he could make things right, but he never understood that hope is never right. It's selfish. He never understood that to get what makes his life better means others pay the price for his hopes and wishes. I weave my way through time like the fine stitching of an exquisite tapestry of quantum probabilities. But Barry, he tore through it, beat his way through it like a savage with a club. He never saw how each ripple in the river of cause and effect creates the fragile balance of life, death, and purpose for everybody. I wanted to be like him once, then I only wanted to beat him, but he did that to himself. Thomas says, my son is dead, and my wife is insane. This whole world is tearing itself apart, all because you wanted to be better than him? And Thawne says, I am better than him. Look around you. I won. He's dead, and this nasty, fatigued reality is a reflection of his failure. Thomas says, I've spent a long time hunting the sick freaks who prey on humanity, and you're one of one of the worst. You think your intelligence and power make you better than others. You think you can manipulate everyone to your own purpose, but you don't even know what that is anymore. With Barry dead, your whole reason for existing died. You might be the most dangerous man in the world, and you don't even know why. You're just lost and confused. Now, Thawne responds by saying how, hey, he could go around Gotham, kill every villain, and then Thomas will have no motive. He says, who would be the object of your vengeance? Now, Thomas says, you're a danger to everyone. And Thawne says, me? You couldn't touch me. You could never see me coming. I could kill you 1,000 different ways while you inhale your final breath. Now, Thomas says, so, why haven't you? And Thawne says, because you're the only one other than me who knows that the world shouldn't really be like this. And I love that. Now Thomas points up. He says, this is the way the world is. I saw my hopes for a decent world die when my son was gunned down. I want him back. I want my wife back. But I can't change the past. Barry thought he could. He wanted his mother back and his father freed. And the cost of that was my son's life and my wife's sanity. What would my price be, I wonder? He said he could change history, that you could. Now, Thawne says, and do you believe him? Now, Thawne then looks at Barry's body and pretty much comes up with this idea that yes, Thomas, I could go back in time. I could save the Wayne family. I could save your son. I could save your mother. And Thomas asks, Bruce, you could save Bruce and Martha. And Thawne just smiles and says, yes, I could. And Thomas says, will you save them? Will you bring my boy back? He tears up a little bit. But Thawne looks at him straight in the eyes and says, not a chance, not a single hope if you have any left. Now Thawne runs off and he's pretty much smiling. He's happy about this. He sees that he has this thing over Thomas. Thomas, his only hope is if Thawne goes back in time. But that's Thawne's decision. Now we see in Metropolis and we see Cyborg and Batman talking. And Cyborg has reprogrammed himself. He's in this new robot machine. He's hoping to get back into his regular self eventually. Now, they make it to this one area, and their whole goal is to rescue Superman. Superman's the only hope this world has. Now, we see Paris, all these Atlanteans, this army. They're killed by the Reverse Flash. He goes at them really fast, snaps their necks, breaks their bones, kills them. He comes upon Aquaman, the last leader of the Atlanteans, and he says, I hope you can understand that none of this is personal. I've been very generous, lenient even. I could have killed every single one of you, but stopped at around 1,000 or so. A drop in the ocean for your people, really. So, Reverse Flash killed 1,000 Atlanteans in front of Aquaman. Now, Eobard continues, but I need you fish folk in the Amazons to understand that there's a new power in the world. Me. Now, I'm not greedy. I could have just wiped you and all of the Atlantis from history and taken the whole world for myself. I still might one day, but I need to deliver a message personally. I think you get the point. It's a difficult choice, which you'd think I'd pick to imply my approach to foreign diplomacy. In the end, I thought the Queen would be more reasonable. So we see Reverse Flash. He stabs his trident into Aquaman. He kills Arthur Curry. Now we see Reverse Flash. He arrives on Themyscira. He drops the dead body of Aquaman. Wonder Woman looks down, and Eobard Thawne says, you and your old gods are finished. America is mine. Stay away from it. There won't be another warning. Now, Diana says, and if I don't, Reverse Flash runs off and concludes with, I won't be so merciful. Now we see on TV that Reverse Flash is a new hero. He saved America. He stopped this war between Atlantis and Themyscira. All is going well. Now we see at Wayne Manor, and we see Thomas. He has his mask off. He says, how is he doing? And Cyborg says, never seen anything like it. Every minute of daylight. For 5 days, he just hangs here, taking it all in, all the sunlight, something like 144 million watts of it, and his cells just process it. No telling how powerful he could get to be over enough time. And we see Superman. He's in this containment cell, but now instead of being weaker and hit by like this red sun radiation, he's been hit by sun radiation, so he's getting stronger. Thomas and Cyborg are trying to make a person who can be strong enough to defeat the Reverse Flash. Now, that's when Superman says, I think I'm ready. Remember what I said, containment. No killing. So Superman wants to stop Reverse Flash, but he doesn't want to kill him. Superman wants to inspire hope in this world. Now, Cyborg says, right, locked and loaded. Thomas says, here's the plan. Now we see Reverse Flash. He's out in the northeast coast of America, and we see his Atlantean ships. They're just on the bay. They're not doing anything. Now, Reverse Flash sees all these birds. They're coming toward him. And he hears this big breeze come by. Says, what's that? And then he's hit by Superman. He's hit into this wall, into all these different rocks, right? Now, he's hit into a mountain in New York. They go across these mountains, and Reverse Flash, he's caught off guard. He's like, crap, I could beat Aquaman, I could beat Wonder Woman, I could beat the Batman. But Superman, if he hits me once, I'm out. Now, that's Reverse Flash. He avoids a big drop, a big punch by Superman. And then he starts getting all these rocks and starts just toppling them on Superman, trying to take him out. Now, Superman uses T-Vision to pretty much blast all these rocks and hits Reverse Flash in the elbow. Now, he tries to blast Reverse Flash, but Eobard, he runs, he dodges these punches, and he tries to punch Superman at super speed. But Superman catches Eobard Thawne's fist, and he throws him back. He says, try running up there. Now, he then goes up and punches Reverse Flash across the sky. Now, we see Batman. He says, it's going well. You're clear about the plan? And Superman says, yes. Pretty simple. Use everything I can do to keep him off balance and focus on fighting him. Then get him up and high and push him toward this exact point on the map. Now, Cyborg says, get him to this point and we will be ready. Now, Superman gets him to this one point and hits a Reverse Flash back. Reverse Flash is pretty much stuck in this one field. Cyborg then blasts and traps Reverse Flash in this field, and Eobard Thawne starts screaming. He's stuck. Now, Batman gets up. He says, engage weapon systems, and he starts shooting at Reverse Flash. Now, Reverse Flash says, damn it, Wayne, you'll pay for this. When I get out of here, I'm gonna go in your life and make you suffer even more. Now, Cyborg then hits Thomas back and says, guns, what the hell are you doing, Wayne? We don't want him dead. And Batman says, I don't want him contained. I want him broken. I want him begging. I want my son. Now, they pretty much start going against each other, and Batman hits Cyborg to the ground. Now, Batman gets a gun ready, and he then goes up to Reverse Flash, and then he shoots at Reverse Flash, tries to kill him, but Superman stops the bullets. He says, no killing. And Eobard then realizes in that moment that Superman is really the only hope they have left. He just saved him. He could be the hero of this world. And you guys know that Eobard Thawne, he admired Barry Allen because he was a hero. He was hope. So to see that Superman embodies that, Reverse Flash kinda likes that. And in a way, Reverse Flash was stopped in this moment. He would just let Superman save the world. But that's when Batman goes up to Superman, points the gun to his head, and says, I'm sorry. And he shoots Superman in the head, you have Zam. And he says, I can't let you stop me. And we see Superman on the ground, dead. And Reverse Flash realizes that the one hope this world had is dead. Now Cyborg goes up to Batman and says, you killed him, damn it, Wayne. We need him. He could have saved the world. And Batman says, not this one. I don't want this one. I want the one that has my son in it. Thawne can change anything. He can bring him back. I have to make him bring Bruce back. Now, that's when we see up in the sky, and Cyborg says, you're insane, Wayne. We have a chance to, and we see all these Atlantean ships, all these ships from Themyscira. They come in, this whole army, and Superman on the ground. Reverse Flash grabs the bullets that's about to kill him. Now you see an army of Atlanteans and gods, led by one woman. She says, give us the right man. Now, that's when we see Batman. He says, he didn't stop them. He united them against him, against us. Cyborg says, and you just shot the one chance we might have had to stop them. Now, one woman reaches the earth, and she says, drop all weapons and surrender. The Amazon Atlantean Alliance claim America as their first conquest. We will build an empire that'll span the stars. The galaxy will fall for us. The right man that thought we would bow to his threats. He could not have been more wrong. She goes toward the Reverse Flash, and she says, he was right about one thing. The old gods are dead. So, we made a deal with some new ones. And we see an apocalypse. It comes toward Earth. And you hear a boom! And something comes out of the boom tube. A whole army. And Batman looks at Reverse Flash. He screams, look what you done. We can't stand against all that. It's your world, Thawne, or it's theirs. Do it, Thawne. Run. Now, Thawne looks at the bullets. And he runs off. He says, my world's mine. Now he runs off and Batman looks. And he says, this is righteously terrifying. It really is. But I'm smiling because you've all just lost this fight. And you don't even know it. I plan for everything, even them. Now, Diana looks, and you hear in the background, Barda is, Barda is, Barda is, Barda is. And you see Big Barda. She leads the army from Apocalypse. You see Orion, you see Light Gray, who looks like a skeleton now. You see Mr. Miracle, Calabac, you see Grey Goodness, Metron. So pretty much Darkseid is dead. But Big Barda is the leader of Apocalypse, and she leads this whole army with Diana and the Atlanteans at her side. And Batman and Cyborg just watch all this happen. Now it's the Reverse Flash. He runs back in time. And this is when Tempest Fugonauts, seeing this story, he sees a switch up. Usually in the Dark Multiverse, it ends in a dark way. All these Earths go dark. The story goes in a more terrifying way. But this is different. This universe is different from all the other dark worlds, all the other dark universes. Now, you see Reverse Flash. He goes to Gotham City years ago, and the bullet that was about to kill him, he drives it through this man's head. The man who is going to shoot Martha and Bruce and Lee Thomas to become Batman. Now, he does this. He kills this man, and he saves the Waynes. Now, by doing this, he changed the world once again. He actually made it more hopeful. He changed this universe from being dark into more lights. Now, we see what this universe has become. It's a universe that Reverse Flash controls. But Diana, Aquaman, Superman, who's now in like a blue costume, Cyborg, Sinestro the Green Lantern, Abin Sur, Black Adam, all these villains and heroes are together. It's technically like the perfect world. No villains, it's a good world, but it's one that only Reverse Flash controls. And that's how we end this story, this tale from the Dark Multiverse that really isn't dark. And it's a recreation of the story of Flashpoint. The Tempest Fugonaut sits on his rock, and he looks for a hero in the Dark Multiverse who could save everyone in this upcoming secret crisis. Now, he searched far and wide, but he hasn't found what he wants yet. Now, he goes to this universe that has Crisis on Infinite Earths, this play on this event, right? But a more darker version of it. Now, Tempest Fugonaut says, "See here, the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Above, a new Earth was forged predominantly from Earth 1. But below, it was not Earth 1, the world of the Justice League. That was the seed. But Earth 2, the world of the Just Society of America. Here in the aftermath, it was Kal-El of Earth 1, not Kal-El of Earth 2, who gazed in horror from the cosmic treadmill, finding a void where once his home had waited. It was the Justice League, not the Justice Society, who faced their last days, as New Earth faced its first, while above, the Justice Society disappeared, locked in endless battle to avert Ragnarok. Here, when Surtur and his armies rose to strike the world, the Justice League stood against him instead. And though mighty, when the Justice League fell, they did not rise. We see Surtur, he attacked this world, and the Justice League, including Wonder Woman, Hal Jordan the Green Lantern, Batman, Green Arrow, they all died. They didn't come back up. Now, that's when the Tempest Fugonaut continues to say, the Justice League were heroes, yes. But their numbers were fewer. They were strangers on this new Earth, confused and unremembered, reeling from the crisis, and absent Kal-El, who was taken to his reward with the Lois Lane of Earth 1, while Alexander Luthor ferried them to a pocket dimension. The Justice League bowed to their last. And the true tragedy of this new Earth began, for just as soon as it was born, this world, with all its potential, came under fire. Still, wet from birth, barely able to defend itself, here was the doomed reflection of a healthy Earth, for Surtur to destroy. We see Surtur, and he's above the White House. He's burning the world to a crisp. Now, that's when we see all these soldiers. They run away. They try to survive, but Surtur just lashes out. He starts killing everyone with fire, with his actually fire sword. Now, you see a flash. Now, this is Surtur says, Who would dare? Now we see Jay Garrick, he runs up, and we see the Justice Society, they all come up in all their glory. Every single hero of the Golden Age. Now, Alan Scott says, we set the anti-monitor packing. We defended our world for decades. We saved reality itself. So ask yourself, Surtur, do you really want to test the All-Star Squadron? Now, you see an older Superman right behind Alan Scott. You see all these heroes. Now, Surtur says, you address me by name without giving your own. Wait, no, I may know you. That's simple. Now, Surtur shows the costume, the uniform of Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern. Surtur killed him. Now, he continues to say, I believe I've seen something similar before. This Green Lantern spoke big like you. He had no fear of me, so I bit off his arm, ring and all. As he gazed at his flailing stump, I said his blood alight from within. As I did with the heroes of Asgard, as I did with the shell-shocked wastes of your Justice League. Destruction is my sole function. So much for no fear. All that means is you die stupid instead of wise. Now, Alan Scott looks at the burning uniform and the lantern ring, and he says, hell no. Yeah, we heard about you, Surtur. We got our own angry ghost who knows your whole story. The Spectre didn't take you lightly. He sent the Justice League ahead. Now, Alan Scott clenches his fist as he gets the power of the Green Lantern. He says, but they weren't the world's only defense. You want to come here and try your hand at extinction? Ask around. We're damn good at putting genocidal maniacs in their place. Now, that's when he stands in front of all the heroes and he says, my family, my friends, we will never stop fighting people like you. Surtur says, then your friends and your family will never stop dying. Now, so Alan Scott says, you heard the man, All-Stars, give him hell. That's when we see all the heroes, they charge at Surtur. And Surtur says, you pack of flesh-wet fools. Hell is what I bring you. Now he slashes his sword, you are choom. We see Hawkman, Silver, Scarab are just slashed in half. They're killed. Now, Hawkgirl says, Carter, Hector. Now, Dr. Fate says, weep later for Hawkman, the Silver Scarab, Hawkgirl. Join me and avenge their fates. Now, Hawkgirl charges at Surtur and says, together, Kent. Now, Surtur says, yes, a burning magician. Join your friends together at my feet. Now he starts to slash and kill all these heroes. You have sizzle and chuck. Surtur says, can you sing, bird? Now Hawkgirl says, I'm coming, Carter. Her face is slashed with fire. She screams. Now Surtur says, useless. Ward's your weapon, though. So passes great Nabu, and with him, the best last hope for this world. We see the Dr. Fate helmet falls to the ground. You got clinging at Gorsh as Dr. Fate is killed. Now, that's when we see the Spectre comes out of his helmet. He says, not best, and certainly not last, cruel one. There's still judgment at the hands of the Spectre. Now, Surtur says, the Spectre, a tired ghost in boys' boots. And Spectre says, do not mock the wrath of a god, defiler. And Surtur says, and just where does the hand of this god enter to puppet you, ghost? Though your point is fair, why mock when I may feast? Now you're a clump as the Surtur unleashes fire and he destroys the Spectre. The Spectre falls to the ground. You are splorts as the Spectre is gone. That's when the Atom says, good lord, there goes the big guy. Another hero says, keep moving, Atom. Spectre's body is falling fast. Now that's when we hear a choom and we see all his heroes continue to get killed. We see the daughter of Wonder Woman. She starts to fight back at the side of Robin. Now, Robin is killed. He's slashed, you're a splutch, and he's killed by Surtur. Now, Surtur comes forth, you're a whoosh, and that's when we see the daughter of Wonder Woman. She stalls him long enough for the older, real Wonder Woman to show up. Wonder Woman says, younger demon, perhaps but stronger. Never. Now she charges into Surtur, Yakachoom, and it actually hurts Surtur a little bit. Now Superman comes flying forth. He says, Diana. Now Alan Scott goes to Diana. He says, we got you, Diana. It's okay. Diana says, "No, Green Lantern. While that creature stands is anything but." Now Surtur says, "Well struck, hag. You weaken my jaw." That's when the Atom says, "Guys, look out, he's gearing up for something quick." Now it's when the Atom goes in front, yes, gloom, and the Atom is burned to a crisp, he dies. Now Alan Scott says, "No," and that's when all these heroes start getting hit by fire. We see Superman, he gets hit in the back, he is very bruised. We see Wonder Woman, she turns into ash. Now some Power Girl goes up to Superman, and she tells him that she's got this. She says, "You go, Superman, this world needs you. I'll buy you the time." Now, Superman says to her, "No, Kara, Supergirl already fell. I can't let the same happen to you." Now, Power Girl says, "Kara Zor-El knew what her cousin meant to the world. Kara Zor-El is no different. This monster is not going to kill Superman. I will allow it." Now, so we see Surtur. He gets his big fire blade, and he goes to attack Power Girl. Now, all the heroes got away. But we see a Thum, and we see Surtur. He walks the land with fire as the world goes ablaze. He says, "This blood, this fire is the start. Hope persists. This world's warriors live, few and wounded. May they stay in their holes like what little life remain for this earth. We are Thum," as he keeps talking. He says, "If there are smarts, they will not impede our march." Now we see this area with all these statues and this one ball that is purple. Now Superman says, "You're sure Sir can't find us, Starman?" Starman responds, "Sure as anyone can be after today, Superman. Giant thunderbolts hiding us, and my cosmic rods bang radio and infrared around the perisphere." And then, that's what Alan says, "We got science and magic on our side." Now that's when we see Wildcat inside. He says, "Sure, Ted, and not much else. Anyone got more string? I keep popping these damn stitches." Now, Hawkgirl looks at the fallen helmets of her beloved Hawkman. She says, "Be with me, my love. I will join you in time after the fire and blood." Now, Huntress says, "Your mother was a hero, Lyta. She struck hard against the greatest enemy we'd ever faced." Now, Lyta, the daughter of Wonder Woman, says, "And she's still gone, Huntress." We see Alan Scott talking to his son, Obsidian, who his real name is Todd, right? But Alan says, "Molly, your sister, this ring's always been able to do it all, but it can't rebuild our family, Todd." Now Jay Garrick holds his helmet and he says, "No, Barry, no Wally, just you, Garrick. The batons come all the way around. Time to run with it." Now he's the Sandman. He says, "A bright mask, bright colors for you, Sandy. Never again." Now we see Superman with Lois Lane. He says, "I left her there, Lois. I left her down." Now Lois says, "You did no such thing. Kara is a grown woman, Clark. She made her own choices." Now we see Johnny Thunder. He says, "Hold it together in there, buddy. They're all counting on us." He has Thunderbolt inside this one pen, right? This big, powerful being. Now, we see Starman with his cosmic rod, he says, "And there's a whole new Earth out there counting on us, Johnny. But from the crisis to this new war, and there's one thing I know about the Just Society. Well, we're survivors." We see all these heroes, the survivors of Earth, including Aquaman, around this table, that instead of saying the Just Society of America, it says the Just Society of Earth. Now, that's when we share to some character moments, right? We see Superman talking with Lois Lane, and he doesn't think he can save the world. He lost Krypton, but he doesn't want to lose this world. Lois tries to give him hope. She says, what Power Girl did, what Kara did, sacrificed herself. She did that because she was a part of the L family. She had a lot of hope. She had a lot of courage. But one thing Superman's and the people a part of the L family do not do is they pretty much relinquish themselves in self-pity. And that's what Superman is doing. He feels a lot of pity for all the people who died. He doesn't know if he can move forward. But Lois pretty much reassures him that he will. He'll keep hoping. He'll inspire people. He'll save the world. Now, Superman says to her, "Lois Kent, you've always known how to catch me." Now we see Sandman. He looks in. He looks at all the different nightmares, how he started this, and now he's at the worst nightmare that he's ever been in. Now he sees his nephew. He sees all the people he loves. He wants to get there someday. but he's stuck in this endless cycle of nightmares. But he must keep fighting. He gets his weapon ready. You're a chuck. He's ready to fight Surtur. Now, that's what we ship to Wildcats. Wildcat says, "Hey, Johnny." Now, Johnny says, "Well, you finally did, Ted. You're more bandaged than man." Now, Wildcat says, "Stitching myself up's become something of a ritual. Helps me remember the last fights, so I can come out ahead in the next one. That okay with you, Johnny?" Now, Johnny says, "I never tell Wildcat how to fight, especially when my own magic corner man is afraid to show. I never thought I'd be one of the last ones standing, you know? I still remember joining up. Johnny Thunder, the Justice Society kid recruit with his all-powerful thunderbolts, ready with a miracle at a moment's notice. I'm not a kid anymore, Ted. None of us are, but right now I feel like one. What good's the JSA mascot gets a demon like Surtur?" Now, Wildcat puts on his uniform. He says, "Got news for you, JT. You were never the mascots, and the genie of yours was just icing on the cake. I always knew it'd be you and me in the end, the fist of the Justice Society and its hearts." So this very nice moment between Wildcats and Johnny Thunder ends. Now we see Alan Scott and Jay Garrick. They remember some of their friends as they embark on this plan. Their plan is for Jay Garrick to run around Surtur at ultimate speed and cause him to go into this black hole. The heroes will fight off against him and send Surtur into this black hole, and his flames will engulf him, killing him. They'll destroy Surtur. Now, they talk about the physics and all the science and how they're creating something, this plan that will work. It's a very crazy but very interesting plan. Now, since Starman says, "Our man would kill to see this," or Midnight's, hell, they laugh for a little bit, but then look down in sorrow. Now, Starman says, We're gonna beat this monster, Flash." Now, Jake Eric says, "You and me, Starman." Now, Starman gets out his cosmic rod. He says, "Myth or not, the right idea always beats the right problem. If the beast burns like a sun," Jake Eric concludes his sentence, "he can burn out like one too." Now, we see Hawk Girl. She's talking to Huntress. She's ready to beat Surtur, then die, and join her loved one, Hawkman, once again. They keep going through resurrection. Now you see Huntress. She's the daughter of Batman and Catwoman, and she has a brother, Robin. She must avenge how they died. Now, Hawkgirl finally decides to become a Hawkwoman. She's going to save everyone, and she's going to go with all these heroes. Now, Aquaman walks out. Everyone's surprised he's here. He never joins the fights, but he's there because it's time that he helps them. The underwater, the sea is a part of this world, and it will not be destroyed by Surtur. Now, we see the daughter of Wonder Woman. She waits. She doesn't think she could go on. She's a fool if she could think she could go on. Now, that's when she gets a message from Diana, Wonder Woman, the final message before she died. Now, she tells her daughter that she could do this, that she'll make her proud, she could save the world. Now, the daughter of Wonder Woman, Lyda, looks at the tiara. She puts it on. She's ready to be the true Wonder Woman. Now, we see Alan Scott and Obsidian. Now, Obsidian, his real name's Todd, is actually the son of Alan Scott. Now, Obsidian says, "Surtur's on the march, Alan, and we just hide here in the dark. This plan Starman and Flash have. Do we know it'll work? How do we know anything right now?" Now, Alan says, "Todd, I'm sorry for this. Not just for today, but for the years I wasn't there for you." Now, Todd responds, "You didn't know I was alive, me or Jenny Lynn." Now, Alan says, "And I curse myself for it, but I'm here now." Now, Todd says, "My mother's long gone. I lost a stepmother and a sister I'd hardly met. Maybe it's better I didn't have time with them. Maybe this hurts less. So don't apologize, Alan. It's not like you can always save the world." Now, Alan says as he looks at his ring, "My friends followed me today. You followed me, Obsidian. I failed them. I will not lose anyone else. You're right, son. I don't have to save the world every time. Just one more time for you. I know what you're going through. Hide your light inside. When this is over, you live it, Todd. Live your lights, and I promise I'll make sure the world's waiting for you." Now we see Surtur. He walks into the sea. The ocean actually is the one thing preventing Surtur from destroying the rest of the world. Now he walks into the ocean. You're a boom. Then you hear a whoosh as he swings his fire blade at the ocean. You hear a sizzle as all the water starts to turn into fire. Now, Surtur says, "Watch the ocean boil the lungs of this world." That's when he continues with this army of all these demons to go into the ocean. Now, that's when we hear a splash. Someone is coming. A new team. That's when we hear from Superman. He says, "Not something, Surtur, someone. The ocean you mocked just smothered all but the dregs of your army. You're trapped here, Fire Lord, alone against the just society of Earth." We see Superman, Obsidian, Hawkgirl, Starman, Alan Scott, Green Lantern, Lyta, the new Wonder Woman, Sandman, Aquaman, Giant Thunder, Wildcats, Huntress, and Jay Garrick Flash. Now, Surtur says, "Ha, such moral logic to willingly craft your own destruction." Now Alan points at him and says, "You think you're the first one to hurt us, Surtur? We've been down before, but the Justice Society always gets back up." Now Wildcat says, "That's right, big man. You took your shot. Now it's time for round 2. Now he continues to say, "And after what you've done, the JSA could go 1,200 rounds easy." Now Surtur says, "Do you truly believe this is combat, pigs of Midgard? It's a calling. The only question is, who strikes first?" Now Wonder Woman says, "Me, creature, Hippolyta, Trevor, heir to paradise. I strike. With the fury of Wonder Woman." You hear a crack as she punches Surtur in the face. Now Surtur says, "I see no wonder." He clenches Lyta's head in his hands. You hear a choom. Now, as we see Obsidian, he starts to attack. All these heroes attack. We see Wildcats. He attacks against these demons. Now, he tells Giant Thunder, "Ooh, gotta thank Green Lantern for these mitts when this is over. Ain't felt this good in years. What you doing back there, Giant? You and your better half should be barbecuing these clowns." Now, Giant says to the pen, You heard him, Thunderbolts. There's no time to be scared." What? Well, what was that? What you got that the Spectre and Dr. Fate dance? Is that a joke? Half a century and now you become a comedian. You got hearts. You got your best friend. You got John L. Thunder. So let's go, buddy. And that's when we see Giant Thunder. He turns into Thunderbolt and he joins Wildcat in this fight against this army of demons. Now Wildcat says, "Nice suit, brother. Now let's get to work." Now so you see Hawkgirl. She starts to take down all the demons. Now you see Sandman. He keeps on fighting, but he's bitten by one of these demons. Aquaman saves him, but Sandman says, "Aquaman, did I get him?" Now Aquaman says, "Shattered in a moment of terror. Maybe these beasts know hell, Sandman, but I promise you've shown them fear. And I think it's past time their boss got the same message." You see these big, great white sharks. They come out of the water, out of the oceans. You hear a chomp chomp. They start to chomp onto Surtur. Now Surtur says, "You soft-minded idiots! All mortal flesh dies in my touch. Such is my perp." Now he could use a scream and he says, "What?" Now we see Power Girl. She's alive. She comes out of Surtur's stomach. You are splush. And she says, "Then it's a good thing this flesh is anything but mortal." Now she comes to Superman. And Superman says, "Power Girl, you're alive. Thank Krypton you're alive." Now you see Starman. He says to Jay Garrick, "Now Flash, while Surtur's hurting." Now Jay runs. He says, "Don't mind if I do." Now they start to run. Jake Garrick runs around Surtur. You are crack-a-choom, choom, choom. Now he runs around Surtur even farther. Starts to push Surtur into this black hole. But Surtur says, "An impressive plan by Midgardian standards. A pity then. There will be no Flash to complete it." He swings his fire blade and cuts Jake Garrick in half. You're a skleric. Now, that's when Alan Scott says, we can still do this, Ted. We'll blast him into space." Now Starman says, his sword, "Get behind me, Alan. Get behind." Now we see Starman. He's hit. He's slashed by the fire blade. Yakachoom. Now that's when Surtur says, "If you're so desperate to rend my bowels, have them." See all his guts. They pour out into the streets. You're a plotch, a plotch. Now Superman says, "Wildcat, Starman, Giant, Aquaman, everyone! You hurt my home, you hurt my family, you've taken enough. You're so sure about the power of fire, Surtur. But it's ice you should worry about." He starts to use his freeze breath. He blows it at Surtur. Then he punches Surtur in the face. Yakachok. Now Surtur grabs the Kryptonian Superman and says, You broke in my face. What pendants shall I exact from your world in return? How first should I burn the flaccid myth of Superman? Shall I wear your scorched flesh as a lone cloak? Shall I lose my soldiers to gnaw your sun-leathered meat while your mate looks on? Now Alan says, enough, that's enough. Now Surtur says, the old lantern, I did promise you and your friends and family would die. Now Alan says, that's over, let Superman go. Now Surtur says, why? Now Alan says, because maybe we can't beat you, Surtur, but you spent eternity in chains, and now you're finally free, and there must be something you want. Now Surtur says, I want only destruction, fool. I have but one primal cause, and that is Ragnarok. My fire cannot be obeyed. Now Alan says, I didn't want it to be true. Since I put on this ring, since I first stood with my friends, we always found victory, even if it was hard fought. I've seen too many of those same friends burn to ignore your power. I've let too many people down. I've seen now that we can't stop you. But if we didn't, what if you could destroy world after world, just not this one? Now Surtur lets go of Superman says, hold, legions, and watch closely as the soul dies. You would ask me to spare this world, your new Earth, at the cost of millions more. Now Alan looks up at this villain and says, that's what I said. I'll be your avatar, Surtur. I'll guide you and your armies to new worlds to destroy as endless as the spaceways, as long as you never return to Earth. Now all the heroes below are shocked. They're shocked at what Alan is doing. Now, that's what Surtur says. Ha! You'd offer yourself for something as small as this place, as your bloodline. You're Superman. Your weanling world mean nothing. Destruction is its own end. Earth is not unique to me, but you'd offer all to defend it. Your dignity that is more delicious to devour than a world. Your daughter, your wife, your allies, all fell by my hands. But yet, you would bend the knee. Now Alan looks down, and he feels sorry for everyone. He says, just save Earth, to protect this world for my son to live in, to preserve the future for generations to come. There's nothing I wouldn't do, so let's get on with the tour, Surtur. I don't have all day. Now Surtur says, very well. May you light the way for destruction now and forever. Now Surtur combines with Alan Scott. Alan Scott becomes this new Green Lantern, the avatar of Surtur. Now, that's what Alan concludes with. Todd, Now, Todd's son says, Dad, but he's gone. How can he just be gone? Dad, we are whoosh as Green Lantern and Surtur disappear from the world. Now, that's when the Tempest Fugonaut continues to say how Alan Scott did save this world. The Justice Society continued to protect this world. It was a great world with hope and everything, but the rest of the universe trembled at Surtur and Alan Scott, the Green Lantern, this new dreaded lantern. Now you see Alan Scott, he flies through space, he has the powers of Surtur, he has the fire blade, he's transformed into this new villain, and he says the oath. And I shall shed my light for fury evil, for death alone survives the lights of the Dread Lantern. Now, that's how we conclude Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Crisis on Infinite Earths, #1. We begin with the Tempest Fugonaut going over the different tribes of the wolf, bear, bird, and the bats. Now, we see pictures of Wonder Woman, Superman, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, Aquaman, Batman, all in the Element X armor. They used this in the original Dark Knight Small event to take down Barbados and pretty much win, right? But this time, that's not what happens. Now, Tempest Fugonaut says, I am Tempest Fugonaut. I am the one who stands at the brink, ever striding the line between the light and the dark multiverse. I am the bane of chaos, always searching the dark for a single spark of light. But I have only found death. Now you see that Batman, all these Justice League members, they die. They're defeated. Now Barbados, he takes over the world. He plunges our world, Earth Prime, into the dark even farther. And no one else is there. There's no hope. Everything is going to the dark. But there's one last person who's trying to inspire hope, the last monitor. Now, the last monitor goes through different Earths. We see New Crime City, Earth 3. We see Fawcett City, Earth 5. Neo Gotham, Earth 12. Monument Valley, Earth 10. Deep Space, Earth 37. Capital of the Tiger Empire, Earth 51. Now, what's cool about this is you see the last monitor, he's running through, and Tempest Fuganot pretty much narrates that he doesn't feel like there's hope left in this world, right? He doesn't feel like there's hope left, but this last monitor still, he keeps going, even though he keeps losing. Every world he goes to, Barbados wins. Now, continuing, what we see is that the last monitor, he makes it back to Earth Prime. Now, Earth Prime is pretty much like a wasteland, guys. It's guarded by Barbados, Batman, the evil Justice League now, but we have this last monitor, and he stands on top of a mountain of skulls. All these dead people. Now he sits in the skulls because he's lost. This is the only place that remains. And he takes off his helmets, and it's revealed that the last monitor is Duke Thomas, the last sidekick of Batman. Now, he can see into the past. He remembers the times of triumphs, when the Justice League were still out there, when there's still hope in the world. But now he sees, instead of hope, he sees just a wasteland, a bunch of dead people, and no hope is to be seen. Now, that's when we see the evil Justice League, controlled by Barbados now. They show up. Now, Batman, who's now Barbados, the Dragon of the End, he says, "Welcome back to the fold, Duke Thomas. Now bow in eternal fear before the dragons of the bats." So obviously we got Barbados, who's the final form of Bruce Wayne. We got the Hydra Diana, Queen of Snakes and Stones. We got Cryptothorax, the true Doomsday, who is like the Superman, who's now controlled by Barbados. We got Tyrant Worm, Devourer of Atlantis. Then we got the Death Construct, Beware His Power, Hal Jordan's Blight. So all these Justice League members are just controlled now and evil, and they're forces to be reckoned with, right? Now Duke says, "Oh God, you're still in there. Clark, Diana, Bruce." Now, Bruce, Barbados says, "Yes, Duke, this is why I was always meant to be. The fated vessel of Barbados, the Dragon Emperor of a Metal Earth. But you're just food. Clark, feast!" Now, that's when Clark, the Cryptothorax, he uses heat vision and blast. You have room! But Duke puts out his shield to block, right? Now, Duke says, "Superman, I know you're in there. You can fight this. You're the strongest person on the planet, and the best part of you is your soul. Let's see if we can give Big Blue a jump start." Now, he blasts Superman back, right? You're a crush. But that's when Barbados says, "Tragic child, you think you can fight this? You don't even know how to properly wield that stolen armor. You have stared into the abyss, and only I am staring back." Now, Duke is blasted back. Now, Duke gets up and he sees Cryptothorax above him. Now, Duke says, "Okay, Duke, deep breath. You're still alive. It's not over. It's not over." But that's when Cryptothorax, he stomps you out, boom! And then he comes down with all his different teeth, right? His entire belly is basically like a mouth. Now, he chomps at Duke, right? He's gonna kill him. But the only thing that's protecting Duke is his armor. And when Duke thinks that all hope is lost and he's about to die, that's when Nightwing shows up. Nightwing has his guitar, and he takes out the guitar. He blasts the Cryptothorax back. He blasts Superman, and he saves Duke Thomas. Now he goes over to Duke and says, "Duke, you shouldn't have come back." Duke says, "There's nowhere else left, Dick. The multiverse is dead." And Dick says, "Then why aren't you?" Duke picks up the tooth of Cryptothorax, right, and says, "I could ask you the same question. What's with the guitar?" And Dick says, "Multiversal frequency disruptor. It's like a distortion pedal for reality. The Axis music will blind Barbados for a minute, maybe two. Only way to keep the dragons at bay. But he'll find you again. His eyes are in the stars. So you best do what you do best. Run." Now, Duke sees Dick in his past self in the Nightwing costume when all was good. Because Duke, looking through these goggles, he sees the past. He sees the greatest heroes. He sees the triumphs. Now, that's when Duke says, "Nightwing, you just knocked out a Kryptonian dragon with a power cord. You're really gonna tell me there's no hope? Bruce would call to say, and Dick then says, "Don't you talk about Bruce. He caused this. He went back in time and set a trap. Even he couldn't escape. Hell, he didn't even know what he did. Batman's entire life was a joke, and we're all trapped in his punchline." Now, that's when we see Nightwing and Duke. They go through different lands throughout this world, right? They go through the Gotham Labyrinth, they go through the burned Metropolis, they go through the Plastic Forest, and they go to the Oblivion Bar. And it's basically Oblivion Bar now. It's total Oblivion, so one place you could go to that won't destroy you. Now, they make it to this volcano, this mountain, right? And they go inside, and this is the new Justice League headquarters. That's when Nightwing confronts Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl's still alive, and she's happy to see that Dick has survived. She thought he was dead. That's when she gets up from her throne, and Dick says, "How far in the hole are you these days? Anyone put the odds the other way?" And that's when Contra says, "Flash," but who knows what's going on with that guy anymore. Hard face to read. Now, Dick walks forward and says, "Well, the good news is, I got supplies to last us at least a month. Any more bad news?" And Contra says, "You know better than to ask that, Grayson. It's Earth metal. There's always more bad news." Now, Contra and Dick, they walk out, and we see that Hawkman is still alive. But he's the World Forger. He's still in that same form he was in Dark Knight's Metal. He's huge. He's a full-on Hawk, right? It's really dope. But that's when Contra says, "Hawkman is still Carter, and we still belong to each other. So he stays." And she says, "See, he's jumpy, seeing things we don't have long left, Grayson. It's all finally coming to an end." So Contra is saying that, okay, she's connected to Hawkman still, but Hawkman can see the end of all things, and it's coming. Now, Dick then says, "Honestly, Contra, far as I'm concerned, that's the best news I've heard all year." Now, that's when they all reunite, Hawkgirl, Nightwing, Bobo, and Red Tornado, but that's when Bobo sees that someone has entered their headquarters. Someone who's not supposed to be there. Now, Bobo sends the Flash, and the Flash finds Duke Thomas. The Flash brings him back, and we see this new, very interesting design of the Flash. He has a skeleton head, right? He's just a skull in the Flash costume, and he's kind of built like a robot. Now, Duke says, "Flash," and then that's when Nightwing walks up and says, "You shouldn't have followed me, Duke. You'd have lived a hell of a lot longer on your own." Now Duke grits his teeth and says, "I don't care about living, Dick. I care about saving the..." And Dick says, "There's no world to save, Duke. Bruce killed everything. You said yourself, it's all gone. Last time I saw you, you were leaping into the multiverse. I'm gonna save them all, Dick. That's what you said. I wanted to believe you. I still do. Did you save a single one?" Duke looks for a second. There's a moment of silence. He looks down. He didn't save any other world. Now, that's when Duke says, "What's done is done. The story's over. Reality lost. But we don't have to. I saw what that axe can do. You have a speedster, a cyborg, whatever Hawkman's become." And Contra says, "Watch your mouth." Now, Duke says, "Sorry, it's a lot. So, you're right. I couldn't save those worlds. But together, I think we could slay the dragons." Now, that's when they all laugh. They're like, "Really?" And then that's when Contra says, "Slay the dragons? Oh, that's all. Why don't I get Darkseid to clean your bunk while I'm at it?" So they think that Duke's whole plan is too far-fetched. But Nightwing says, "Stop." And that's when Contra says, "Oh no, it's the Nightwing voice." And Nightwing gets out his guitar and says, "Flash, let the kid go. Hawkman can smell the end. It's coming in fast. Not like we got anything else to do. So, you want to kill the dragons, Duke? Then I'm listening. How?" Now, that's when Duke explains his plan, his full plan. He says, "If there's one thing I've learned staying one step ahead of the death wave, it's this. You don't need to destroy an entire world. You just need to know where to aim to take it out in one shot. Barbados used Batman. Through him, he got to the metals, and then through them, he got everything. He went after the source. So we do the same. This place isn't just a mausoleum, and it's also not just your hideouts. It's a record of the Justice League's victories and defeats. It's the whole story. The Justice League had weaknesses, so do the dragons. So we learn them, and we use them. We hit them once, exactly where it hurts. So, even if the death wave does come, We'll make sure good makes one last stand. If there's a single memory left, it'll be of you, and you won't be a bunch of hollow survivors living in the corpse of the old worlds. Well, you'll be the Justice League. Now he shows all their older selves: Bobo, Red Tornado, Nightwing, Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Barry Allen, the Flash. Now, that's when they all look, and Nightwing puts his hand on Duke's shoulder and says, Thank you, Duke. It's easy to forget this place. But be warned, kid, if we're gonna fight dragons, we'll need a dragon of our own. Now he's shit, and we see the Batman who laughs. He's pretty much just taunting this Joker dragon, who he has just chained up. He says how this Joker dragon is not wanted by Barbados, or even the Batman who laughs anymore, and that this Joker dragon will just die and be killed, right? Disintegrate. Because, for one, it's not needed, and the big thing is that the Batman who laughs doesn't think that this Joker dragon is funny anymore. It's not making him laugh. So that means it must die. But that's when he looks down and sees his Hall of Justice, which is pretty much just the Hall of Justice that he's just destroyed, right? It's in rubble. Now, the Batman who laughs goes to the Helmet of Fates and says, Helm of Fates, is that a flicker of hope? I love that kind of predictability and alarm system. I wonder which relics have finally decided to die. I think this calls for my lovely assistant, Satana. Would you lend me a hand? But that's when we see a Hawkman, Hawkgirl. They approach the Batman who laughs. But that's when they're stopped by the spell that the Batman who laughs says. The Batman who laughs stops all the Justice League members and makes all of them bend a knee to him. Now, Bobo then says, only magic could make me bow before a monster like you. And the Batman who laughs says, it's not even my birthday, but you all give me such a present. He starts to lick his lips and smiles. The Hawks, I always knew you would come. After all, they're raptures, and I'm such delicious baits. And Flash, well, I don't know which one of the speedsters he is, but he's become almost as bad as the Death Wave itself. Poor guy, he's a runner-up, even now. What do they call you? The Maroon Mecha Monkey? He goes up to Bobo and Red Tornado, who are now combined, right? He continues to say, honestly, you're like a walking Mad Libs. I'm adding you to my collection. You're wonderful. Now, he stands over Duke and says, but Duke, Thomas, I literally forgot you existed. This is an honest delight. And Duke says, yeah. Then die with a smile. He breaks the chains that are holding the Joker dragon. The Joker dragon laughs, then burns the Batman who laughs alive with fire. The Batman who laughs is no more. The Joker dragon laughs, and then Duke says, keep laughing, Snake, but listen closely because you have 3 options, which is a hell of a lot more than you gave my parents. 1. Try to eat me. They'll kill you. 2. Fly away. Barbados will kill you. 3. Fly with us. Take us to Barbados' mountain. Most likely we will still all die, but if we're both very lucky, we'll murder God first. Now the Joker dragon laughs uncontrollably, and Duke says, so why don't you tell me, how's that a joke? And the Joker dragon laughs even more and says, oh, you don't get it. Barbados cast me out. And the one who laughs, he said I wasn't funny, but now I'm the one laughing, and they get the axe. Now we see our Justice League, they ride forth into the sky. Duke Thomas, he rides his Joker dragon after Barbados. Now, they confront the evil Justice League, led by Barbados now. They all confront each other. We see Flash, he connects with Hal Jordan, who's now an evil version of himself, right? Flash gives his life to save Hal Jordan and defeat one of these evil Justice League members. Now, we see Hawkman and Hawkgirl. They fight off against the evil Aquaman and the evil Wonder Woman. They take them down. As Wonder Woman smash, she's hit to pieces. Now, Aquaman, he's taken down as well. And Hawkman and Hawkgirl, they die together. Now, all that's left is Nightwing and Duke. They fight off against the evil Superman, Cryptothorax. Now, that's when Nightwing says to Duke, would you look at that? The Hawks did. We're down to the world's finest. Now, Duke says, I know you mean Clark and Bruce, but I gotta say. Now, Nightwing says, yeah, I know. We made a pretty good band, you and I. But it's time for my solo. He blasts the Cryptothorax, and the Cryptothorax says, Grayson, Time to die. Now, Nightwing flies to Joker Dragon, and he says, you still haven't learned Cryptothrax. Superpowers are only as good as the person wielding them. Clark was good. You're just a mindless beast. Now, Cryptothrax says, death to Nightwing. You're a boom boom as this whole battle rages on. Now, Nightwing says, Nightwing, get with the times, man. I got a kryptonite pick now. Call me Dragon Slayer. Now, Nightwing uses guitar. He takes down the Cryptothrax. But with this, he gives his life. Nightwing is no more. He dies. But all that is left is Duke Thomas and Barbados. Barbados says, come now to die, Duke Thomas. It's all you Robins were ever good for. Now, Duke rides the Joker Dragon, but Barbados slashes at the Joker Dragon and kills it in one shot. Duke jumps off. He says, I was never your Robin. Come on, Armor. One last ride. Let's go. Duke starts teleporting through different dimensions, going around Barbados. Barbados says, your words have truth. Robins were my children. You were only ever a tool in my belts. But you're loyal to Bruce, so I'll make you one offer. Quit this fight. Resonates with me to the music of the end. Join me in the death wave. Now, Duke shows up out of a portal. He says, Bruce, I know you're still in there. Fight him. And Barbados says, fight me. I am his nature, his unchangeable destiny. Your journey is hopeless. Your armor is nothing. Your allies are dead. And yet you keep fighting, you keep hoping, even in the face of total darkness. And you think that makes you righteous. Hope does not make you a hero, child. It makes you a fool. Now, Duke gets his sword out. He says, no. It makes me Batman. Now, Duke plunges into the teeth of Barbados. He makes it inside. He gets a hold of Bruce, who's now old, and he's controlled by Barbados, right? Now, Duke gets his tooth from the Cryptothrax and plunges into Bruce's heart. He kills Bruce Wayne. He kills Batman. But in doing so, he kills Barbados. Barbados screams, no! And then we see Duke Thomas. He makes it out. He defeated Barbados. Now he takes control of his body. Duke says, I will reclaim hope. And so as the death wave crests the horizon of this, the last world, I do what I've always done. For one last time, I run. So, Duke, pretty much his whole world is destroyed, but he defeated Barbados. He's now super powerful, but Duke now goes out and he meets up with the Tempest Fugonauts. The Tempest Fugonaut has been watching this entire situation. All these dark multiverses, all these horrific tales, right? Now, the Tempest says, it is you, of all the worlds I have watched destroyed, of all the heroes who have fallen, it is you, Duke Thomas, who survives, the man who fought against all odds, the hero of the dark multiverse. Now, guys, you remember the Tempest Fugonauts? The reason he is pretty much watching all these tales of the dark multiverse is because he's trying to find one hero in the dark that finds hope and wins, right? The true hero that can save the DC universe from an even bigger crisis, a crisis bigger than Dark Knight's Metal or Death Metal, and you can kind of say a secret crisis. Now, continuing what Duke says is, I don't know who you are, but let's get something straight. Worlds lived, worlds died, everything ended, the multiverse is ash, and you watched? Now, the Tempest Fugonauts is speechless. We see that Duke Thomas, he blinds the Tempest Fugonauts because he watched all these dark tales and did nothing about it. Duke Thomas is mad at the Tempest Fugonaut because he needed help this entire time, and the Tempest Fugonaut didn't do nothing. Duke Thomas had to do this all on his own. He saved himself. He defeated Barbados. Now he walks out and claims his new name as the Final Knight. He is the hero of the dark multiverse. And that's how we close out this issue. And this is the final tale from the dark multiverse, at least for now. So that was the recent volume of Tales from the Dark Multiverse, and honestly, my favorite out of all 5 of them would probably be either Wonder Woman War of the Gods or Dark Knight's Metal. Actually, I'm gonna choose Dark Knight's Metal, because that one was very meta, and it had a really awesome conclusion, with like Duke Thomas, the last martyr, becoming the final knight. He beat Barbados, and he pretty much shows up in front of Tempest Fugonauts. And Tempest Fugonauts has been going around the Dark Multiverse trying to find a hero. That's basically the premise of these Tales from the Dark Multiverse. It's not just random stories, right? This guy Tempest, he's looking for a hero, so he's watching all these stories, and he couldn't find one until he came upon Duke Thomas, right? The last martyr. Now, Tempest Fugonaut didn't help at all, and Duke got mad, blinded him, and then went out into the Dark Multiverse to fight off against all these dark worlds. Which I think they should make that a series, because that'd be really dope. Seeing the final knights, Duke Thomas, just going up against these other dark versions. Like, if we can see him go up against, like, the Death of Superman Lois Lane. Or just have all these characters cross over. All these different evil versions of our heroes that we see in these recent stories, these recent tales. That would bring it full circle and would make a really awesome series. So I feel like this whole collection of one-shots is kind of getting old. This is the second volume, and they haven't really changed the formula. The only time they changed the formula was the Dark Knight's Metal 1, and that's what made it so interesting. So they need to change it up a little bit. Now, I do think if they bring it back, now they'll have Duke Thomas, the final knight, as the guy who narrates the story, right? He goes to the world, and he actually make it involved with the story, which could be really cool. We no longer have to worry about Tempest Fugonaut, who he was good at first, but he got so generic and kind of boring. But one thing that's left open is Tempest Fugonaut, who's been trying to find a hero for the Dark Multiverse because there's a big crisis coming that's bigger than Dark Knight's Metal and Death Metal. You could say like a secret crisis. A lot of people have been theorizing that this crisis that's going to happen will be called a Secret Crisis, and it'll be a crossover between DC and Marvel. Now, that'd be really awesome. Different writers at DC and Marvel have teased that, but I barely doubt it. I feel like Tempest Fugonaut is like, oh, a crisis is going to come, but it's never going to come. It's just teasing something that'd be cool. Now, we may get a DC Marvel crossover eventually. All the different writers are down for it. The different companies just need to make the decision. And I think that's something that can save the comic industry, really help it out, and just boost sales, alright? Like, people would check that out. Like, if there's a comic you would check out, one comic, it'd be that, a Marvel DC crossover. And if this is a setup for that, that'd be really cool. But still, we can hope for that, we can theorize all day long. But I'd like to know your guys' theories down below, and your thoughts on all 5 of these stories, all 5 of these Tales from the Dark Multiverse. And yeah, if you liked the video, give a big thumbs up, new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, so you don't miss out on my next video and my next complete story, because I try to release these once in a while, once I complete a story, right? With like Flash, Death Metal, we had like Endless Winter, different stories that I think you guys will like. Now, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching, and peace out.